Good morning, Vietnam. How are you all doing today? It is nice to see you all out there. I am just going to check in with my good friend Pam very quickly. Okay, fantastic. I know Chantal will be in a moment. That's two ins in a row. So we will see about that. Right on, Pam. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we are in today, and hello to everyone out there. I hope you are well. I hope you had a great weekend. I did have a very good weekend, and yeah, and we had our protest on Friday, which went extremely well. It was very interesting. We had we had people show up just walking by the street. One girl stopped her car, parked her car downtown, and then walked back to protest with us. That was quite stunning. That was quite a moment. I mean, what a story, right? She didn't have to do that at all. And yet she did. And she had to go pick up her daughter, I think. She had to go to school, and yet she wanted to stand with us in protest, and she's not an AISH recipient or anything else like that. There was another guy that stopped me and said that he'd be back next week to stand with us in protest. I believe he's on AISH or he's trying to find a job. I talked to two people on the street, one younger, one not so, and both couldn't find a job. I don't think either of them were on AISH, and they were freaking out because they can't find work, and they've been working their asses off to try and find work. So that was very instructive, very informative. Um, yeah, right. So what? They want us to go out and get a jobs when the working class can't find a job, and all we're going to do is exhaust the complete workforce, and people can't get jobs now. So what the hell is that, right? What is that? It makes absolutely no sense to me, and at all to me. Um, I talked to a lawyer that is involved in some pro bono work, or his company is, regarding AISH itself, and so I'm going to be reaching out to them this 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 week. Sorry, I think my co-host just came in. I am going to see if that's true.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, okay. I can't see your pretty face, but is that because?
Oh, I was just in a rush to get up here.
No, there you go. There you go. Now I have to put you in beside me, so just give me a second, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
I have to slide you in to. Okay, so that's Zoom feed. What the hell's that? Oh, I think I know. I'm getting better at this. I mean, I can't brag yet, but I'm getting better, I think. God, I hope so. I sure hope so. We're in gallery view. Let me switch back. Okay, so that's you. Let me go back to gallery. Let me ask the question. How was your weekend, by the way?
It wasn't too bad. It was a little warm in the house, but that was about it.
Was it? Yeah. No air conditioning for you?
No, not unless I get the get my portable air conditioners out.
Right, right.
And I try not to pull those out too often because of how much they spike my electricity prices.
Well, of course, right? Give me a second. If you want to talk to the people, go ahead. I'm just going to get you in beside me.
Here. I had to update the Alberta information form twice this weekend.
Okay.
Pain in the butt that was. They have closed the email address that was on the original form.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is no longer in service.
Mm-hmm.
And the fax number has been disconnected.
Holy shit! Really?
Yep.
Both of those things.
So there, so there are only two pathways now
Right.
for people to reach out to get their AISH files and whatnot, and that's through the alberta.ca portal, but you have to have a fully verified account. So it has to be linked with your photo ID, driver's license, what have you. If you don't have that, you can't use that pathway. And then, where is it here? You can mail it in. So the old stamp and envelope.
Wait, so they have done away with they've done away with
Fax and email.
With fax and email.
Yeah.
How can they do that?
I have no idea.
How can they do that? That is fucked up.
Yeah. I had a bunch of emails come in. I think it was on Saturday saying, hey, the fax number isn't working. I'm at Staples. I'm at the library. I'm here. It's not going through. And of course, I don't have a fax machine here at home at my table. And there was no way for me to verify it. But across the board, nobody was getting through.
Right. So do you have it confirmed that they have done away with both of those avenues?
Yes.
You have it confirmed, huh?
Yeah. And I've already let Murray's office know.
Has she gotten back to you?
I got a confirmation email that they're letting her know that those two pathways are no more.
Okay. Jesus. Give me 2 seconds, okay? I'm just getting you in here. We need to talk about this, don't we?
We can.
Wow. Okay. Okay, I got you. You're right there. Hi, Chantal. Okay, bam. I'm just going to kind of size this for both of us. Good enough. We need to get onto this. Wow. So, as far as I'm concerned, Chantal, this is complete and absolute fuckery with 80,000 people.
Yes.
I mean, it is a dynamic of subversion in real time. I mean, could you call it anything else? No.
When I checked the metadata on the website there for the contact information, everything had been updated as of, what was it, the 7th of May? So there's no reason why that email address wasn't working. No reason why that fax number wasn't working.
Right. Right. And so I just want to ask you again, it's been confirmed that these are no longer avenues to get a hold of AISH, is that right?
Not AISH. This is to get a hold of the, what are they called? The Access to Information Act, because we're not sending the request into AISH itself.
Okay.
AISH won't do anything with that request.
Right.
Because that's not the government body that we want to get a hold of.
Right.
So the email address for the, I believe it's a commissioner within that Access to Information Act office, that was disconnected, and so was the fax number.
Okay, and that's confirmed.
Yeah.
And that's the government that would have discontinued those avenues.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and the only way you can do it now it's a FOIA request, isn't it? They call it a FOIA request, I believe, access to information, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the only way to do it is to mail it in.
Yeah. So the original, well, it's not the original form anymore. This is version 3 of the form. It's got all of the fillable fields, and you can print it off right from your computer. You take that third page, the access to information request form, put it into an envelope with a stamp, and you mail it on.
Wow.
And the address is there on the first page.
When you did, prior to this, have access through email and phone call?
It would have been through email and fax, yes.
Email and fax. Right, okay.
Because those were separate avenues.
Can you call them?
There is a contact number for them, but I'm not sure off the top of my head what it is.
Okay. Maybe somebody should contact that. Do you have that number there?
Here.
And I'm going to, just before you do that, hey, Pam, are you still on here? Let me know you're still on here. Because what I'd like you to do is give that number a call and see what it does. You okay? You good? Yeah, do you have that number? Okay, cool. Do you have that number?
I'm just trying to see it here, because they have different coordinators. They don't have just a main phone number.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So it says if you're submitting an access request to the government of Alberta, use the online request service. And I believe that, yes, that takes you right through their digital ID platform, so that alberta.ca.
Okay.
And then, where is it here? Find an access to information coordinator to help you access the information you need. So that's not it.
Okay.
And then it just has a contact forum that is built into the page.
No number.
So name, email address, what your inquiry is about, or your nature of inquiry, and then what your message is. So that they don't have a direct phone number.
They don't. Okay, just give me 2 seconds.
Not that's posted here.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds, because I want to confirm or deny. What would we call this division? The FOIA request something, or what would you call this? The freedom to, or the access to freedom?
This is the access to information.
To information, what, department?
I would say office.
Office, okay. Alberta have a I mean, this is just coming through in real time, ladies and gentlemen, so stick with us. We are all doing journalism at the moment, okay?
Yeah, because their central intake office, where we would be sending all of our mail to, according to their original form that was not fillable, is in Edmonton here, Jasper Avenue.
Okay. Okay. The main Alberta office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner phone number is, okay, Pam, so I'm going to type this, I'm going to tell you it, and then I'll type it. Excuse me, 1-780-422-6860. Okay, so give them a call right now. Just see what you get, my lovely friend. I'm gonna paste that in there. Okay, so give them a call, Pam, right now and see what you come back with. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us and for doing journalism in real time on the AISH Actions podcast. Um, and anyway, the definition of journalism is sticking your head outside the door, looking down the street, and reporting back on it. That's all journalism is. And so we are poking our heads through the doors of the legislature at the moment, and we'll get back to you very shortly, and Pam will, regarding what is happening here. If you haven't been made aware, Chantal just made us aware that you can no longer fax or email for your freedom of information request regarding your information, your AISH information. The only access you are granted now is by letter. So this is a pure act of subversion as far as I can tell, because what they're doing is slowing down the process to a turtle's pace so that you can't get that information, so you can't fight your case, and of course they want you in the dark. It's very simple. They don't want you to know. They don't want the right hand to know what the left hand is doing. This is fuckery on a level I haven't seen, at least in real time. Huh? Sorry, that makes me a little upset.
Oh yeah, well, I got an email from somebody that I was in contact with yesterday that was looking to file their form.
Yeah.
From the email address that is no longer operational, so I don't know what the hell is going on.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because they're telling
It's
you
also
what?
very fuzzy.
Yeah. What are
they,
saying?
where is it here? They emailed it, it looks like to the, I don't know, it's really blurry, like really fuzzy, like their camera is like really not not focused at all.
Uh-huh.
Almost how I see when my eyes are doing their weird thing.
Right.
It looks like they've attached the form requesting their file, and it's been sent to that email address. Where is it here? That SARTR period ATI dash central intake at govab.ca.
Is that the one in that we're
That's
discussing
the
right now?
one. Yeah, that's the one that isn't working. That was bouncing everything back. But yet now that email has come back to this individual saying, please submit your picture government identification.
What?
Please reply to this email with the front copy of your ID. Thank you.
Okay, so they want verification.
Which would make sense, but I don't understand why the email address wasn't working over the weekend and why everything was bouncing back.
Can you email that address right now and just see if it bounces?
Unless Mary was already on the phone today. That could be it.
Okay.
Send that. I want to know if this email address is working.
Right.
Pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah, no fucking around there.
Because I know that I sent out like an email over the weekend and it bounced right back like almost immediately, saying that there was no email address there, it was undeliverable.
Right, okay.
I haven't gotten a bounce back.
Okay. Did you get a confirmation or anything, or?
No confirmation, but no bounce back is good.
No bounce back is good?
Okay, so the email from Marie's office at 8:33 this morning,
Yeah.
right? Thank you for writing to share that the access information submission channel is currently not functioning. I've shared this information with her. Hopefully the government will get that channel functioning again soon. So maybe that's what they did. They got it working.
Maybe so. Okay. Well, you're not getting anything bouncing back.
Nope.
Okay, good.
So no bounce back is a good sign.
It is, yeah. It'd be nice to also get a confirmation, wouldn't it? That's okay. Maybe just keep your eye on that for the next 10 minutes or so and see if
Oh,
you
I've
get
got it open.
Yeah, cool. And
I just can't believe that. Like ever since that TikTok from Mary went on,
yeah.
like came up on Facebook saying, contact us to request your file. I've been getting nothing but emails from people containing like private information, personal information, confidential information, and it's like, please don't send that to me. Please don't send that to me. Oh my goodness.
Credit
So
cards, debit
I've been
cards.
redirecting them.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I've been doing is redirecting them.
Well,
Like,
this
hey, yeah, we know this isn't working. We know that's not working. Here's another way to do it. Here's another way to do that. Oh my goodness. And I've been deleting emails because I can't keep that information.
Well, this chick needs to be talking to you to ask you what you've got going on, who you are. I mean, I know she knows you, but she needs the details before she pulls a fucking trigger that big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is that?
Well, at least we're friends from Calgary, right?
Right.
Our buddies in Calgary or our friends down in Calgary. I'm not in Calgary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
like I'm part of your constituency. I'm like
yeah,
15 minutes from you.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you've had contact with her anyway, haven't you?
Oh, she's known my family now for over 6 years.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because they're like when I first moved here, she was the first person that I got in contact with when they told me that the wait time for FSCD was going to be 2 years, and I wasn't having it.
Right.
I was like, not with having 3 kids the way that mine are. Absolutely not. No, I'm not waiting.
Yeah. No, of course.
Because that was just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and she's been in touch with me back and forth for a number of years. I think I have my own file in her desk.
Right. Right.
But
Okay.
I handed out a good chunk of cards today.
Did you?
Oh, I did. At the school that I'm transferring my kids to next year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they deal with a lot of goals program, a lot of parents that are going through FSCD, or kids aging out to PDD where the talks are happening. So I just said, here, this is what I do. This is all the information that I have. Here's a handful of my cards. Give them out to the parents.
Okay.
Anybody that's having a hard time with the changes that are happening, with the age changes, with the FSCD wait times, everybody's welcome. And they just kind of blanked a little bit, like they didn't know what to say.
No, that's great. They need the information if they're the middle class, and they've got kids on this, on AISH, or whatever their circumstances. They need this information as bad as anybody else does.
Yeah.
Right. So, of course, great work. And just to get back to that, we are doing the protest downtown again tomorrow and on Friday, 12 noon, in front of the City Hall in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And Friday was quite a stellar. It was quite amazing. We had people come up. This one lady literally parked her car, saw us protesting, parked her car somewhere downtown, came back. I'm talking like, in her 30s or something, and stood with us and protested. She was on her way to school and she just couldn't not stop. And so she said she'd be back this week. A lot of people were asking about a petition. Can we sign a petition somewhere? And I hadn't thought of that. So I have, thanks to online shopping, I now have a 60 pens, a really good looking, I'll grab it, a really good looking
Oh, I
clipboard.
have that exact one too.
Do you really?
I do.
Isn't that amazing? Aren't they amazing? Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So
Well,
you
yeah, because
can.
it's got the compartment to keep stuff safe in the back, and then you've got the clear, ready to go compartment, and then you've got the clipboard on top. Yeah,
Exactly.
fantastic. I
Right. So
use
if,
that for all my school meetings.
oh, that's wicked. So if it rains or whatever, you can just put all the papers inside except the one that you're signing.
Yep.
Um, and cheap like borscht.
Great
This thing.
minds think alike, I guess.
Well, right. Um, so we've got that. I've got the petition. I'll be going out to Staples to grab what I need, and boom.
Well, I'm hitting the dollar store before the 22nd when we're going to head down to the legislature here. I'm picking up a whole bunch of poster boards and scented markers for people.
Oh, wicked.
Didn't bring a sign here, you go make one.
Wicked, wicked. Well, we're trying to get there, and I know George Black is the guy putting it together. I believe that's his name. And so he actually just got back to me, said he'd love to be on the podcast, and he'd like to coordinate with Calgary to get us up there and all people up to the legislature to basically boot fuck the establishment. And colloquially speaking, of course. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do.
Makes sense.
So that's
I'm going to do
fantastic.
some more research to see if I should bring chalk with me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the sidewalk, you mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
sidewalk chalk, like
Yeah.
kids chalk.
Yeah.
I have a whole bucket of that stuff. So I want to see if that's an appropriate medium to bring. Like, it's not spray paint or anything, and it washes off of the concrete, but
Yeah.
you know, we put an AISH recipient was here for every one of us, and you know, it'll erase the next rainfall, but
I don't see
There's
there's any
proof.
legality. Kids play hopscotch with that shit every day on the sidewalk.
mhm.
Yeah,
And I just want to make sure that it's okay where it would be used.
where it would be used. Yeah, I get you. But see, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, things are. It's like Steve Martin and the Jerk. Things are going to start happening to me now, and things are happening all around you. Things are happening. The 22nd of May. Tomorrow, City Hall, Calgary. Friday, City Hall, Calgary. Tomorrow as well, Acorn has one going on, and I wish we could have coordinated, but we didn't. Not sure why. I have them coming onto the podcast, or at least they've accepted the request. We were supposed to, I'll just clean up. We were supposed to have Zachary Weeks today, but he will not be on today. He said that one of his friends just ended up in the hospital and asked me politely if he could postpone. So, of course.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to see more and more of us going into the hospital, I think.
Aren't you? Yeah, we are.
So our hearts go out to Zachary Weeks' friend.
Absolutely. Right now, in real time. I just said, dude, you attend to your friend and, we'll have you on next week. So that's Zachary Weeks.
We've got Jen coming on, I think, on the 18th.
We have Meme Jen, Big Bad Leroy Meme Jen coming on the 18th from, I believe, Grand Prairie, right?
Yeah, she's one of my card carriers in Grand Prairie.
Right, and she's been kicking ass up there, hasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she was invited onto an advocacy council up there, which is awesome.
Right, we chatted back and forth a little bit yesterday. She's doing great work.
She was asking me for specific documents today, so I sent those over right away.
Cool, cool. See, ladies and gentlemen, there are people doing work, a lot of work, and it's ramping up right now. And this
well, as we get closer, yeah.
As we get closer, people are freaking out. And that's a natural feeling that you would get from anything like this. You're not crazy because you feel like, oh my God, what's about to happen? You are acting in accordance with natural law, which states that there's a reason to freak out and your body will therefore respond to that. We're going to get into that in a few minutes. I do have something, Chantal, do you think we've kind of wrapped up that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. And I will just mention, I was on one of my favorite podcasts called Due Dissidence, two New York Jews last night to to put it in their ear regarding what's happening in Alberta, the ties between separation and the U.S., this austerity measure, which I believe has something to do with all of that. And so they're going to take a look at the email, and perhaps I'll be on there. Speaking on behalf of Albertans to the U.S. And what that implication means for 80,000 people and to U.S. citizens. So we've got that going on, which is good. I want to, Chantal, you don't know about this, but there was a protest against separation on Saturday. And I believe it was in front of the offices of whatever, the separation leaders or something. I can't confirm that, but it looked like that. And so here's what happened. There was probably like 20 people. And God bless those 20 people for, of course, standing up for their natural rights as citizens and protesting. Here's what happened. It seems to me like one of the guys that is involved in this separation movement came out and started videotaping them. Now, they were videotaping him, and he was videoing them. And immediately, people started putting their signs up in front of him and trying to stop him from filming, and said that it was illegal to film, even though they were filming him, which is the only way that I could see what was happening. And there was no discussion that took place. People were yelling and screaming at this guy. And I got to tell you, this is exactly what the fucking separatists want. They want you to show this wokeism, which Danielle Smith came out, a couple days ago and said she's going to end woke. And if you want to know what woke is, that's what woke is. And you really got to stop that shit. You really do. This guy comes out. The way that you are going to, if you can change anybody's mind, and nobody's going to say that you can with any means or metric, but if you start screaming at this guy, yelling, calling him a douchebag, fuck you, you will ensure, number one, that guy won't change his mind on anything. And number two, you will only give him content to either put on the news or to share with this expansive and growing separation movement of just how nuts you are. That's not cool. That's not good. And you need to stop that. What you need is an argument that is better than his. That's what you need. You do not need to castigate. You do not need to cast aspersions, because this is the essence of woke, that somehow your virtue supersedes the virtue of other people. Even if that's true, it's not virtuous to push virtue. That's not the definition of virtue, is to push your virtue on other people. What you want to do is say, hey man, you got an idea. I don't agree with your idea, but why don't you give me your best shot? Tell me why you want to separate. Let them do it. Why let them do it? Because you defeat bad speech with better speech. You don't do it by censoring somebody. You never do it that way. That's why this censorship thing is a load of shit. You don't censor people. You come with a better argument. You let them speak their argument into the ether, into existence, and then you collapse their argument with a better argument. So I'm going to roll a few seconds of this podcast. Now, there is no audio, and I'm actually going to put it back because I want you to see right from the top what happens. Okay, so right there, somebody runs up and throws a thing in this guy's face, a placard or whatever. I'll do that one more time. Boom, right there. Okay? Completely unnecessary. This guy wants you to be a dick. He's banking on it. Okay, so I'll let it run a little bit more. Now, I wish I had the audio. I don't know why I
You look like if you were an athlete.
Actually, the more pictures he posts, the better.
Now everybody around this guy is getting upset.
Your mother is
They're beside
ashamed.
themselves.
That's okay, I've got some of him.
Now this guy, I don't know if you can hear him,
Right.
but he kind of had a conversation.
Traitor. And that's what I got too, advertising for us. But at the same time, he does intimidate us is what he.
And then people come up and things like this, and they're yelling and
Wake up! Wake up! Don't listen!
This is
not
true.
true.
This is democracy. So thank you.
Well, it's not democracy.
Anybody that would.
No, you don't, because your party released the fucking information. Bullshit.
Yeah, you did. Anybody that
David
was
Parker.
is
David Parker.
anybody that was
Parker is your fucking
this is not a conservative party.
yeah, she seems to walk away in disgust. That ain't gonna help. That ain't helping nothing.
It almost seems like they were more upset about being recorded, but if you're in a public space, you're gonna be recorded. If
Exactly.
somebody wants to do that, that's what's gonna happen.
Exactly. And
Because we see TikToks and videos about that happening in the States all the time. What do they call it? A First Amendment right? You know,
yeah,
you can stand on the sidewalk and record whatever the hell you want.
yeah, First Amendment auditors. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
watched,
don't know what that would be called here.
Yeah,
But I
don't-
get a kick
yeah,
out of
because we don't
those.
have a First Amendment.
People
Charter-
get so pissed off about being recorded. It's like, then don't be in public. Why are you recording my vehicle? Because it's in a public space.
Exactly. And, you know, I mean, God, I grew up in the 70s, and if there was a camera in front of me, I was right in front of it. I wasn't
Yeah.
hiding. People weren't running away. They were like, hey, you know, shoot this. And the hypocrisy of people filming this guy, yelling at him that he's not allowed to film. I mean, and this is what they were upset at. They were upset at the fact that now they had an object of their disaffection, and they were just going to come unglued at this guy. Really bad policy, ladies and gentlemen. Really not cool. You want to have an argument in front of this guy. You want to be calm. You want to be cool. You want to be collected.
Or just ignore him. Because what he's looking for is to stir the pot.
Right. Let him do his thing. If you approach him, though, or if you're going to say anything to him, ask him for a conversation. Don't castigate the dude. He's allowed to film you. He's allowed to believe what he believes, even if we know that is more than likely incorrect and it's destroying our lives, so we can say it is absolutely incorrect. Even so, there is an opportunity there. You were handed a golden opportunity, an opportunity from the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to do something with that moment. And that didn't seem to take place. And that's too bad. When I'm at the protests, people come up to me all the time, and some of them can be ignorant. I had a guy on, I think it was last Tuesday, show up, and he had I mean, he was a street person and kind of, you know, fucked up, and that's cool. I stood and I wanted to get his thoughts, but he couldn't express thoughts. And then he just thought he was right. And I said, well, you know, unless you come with some evidence of what you just right now believe in your head, then, you know, then we can talk. But I said, I have all evidence. He said, well, where do you have your evidence from? I said, the government of fucking Alberta. So, you know, that's my evidence. Come with yours and we can discuss. And then his buddy tried to rip off our shit. So I think it was all just decoy, deflection. But I stopped the guy from ripping anything off. And that was that. But even in that moment, I wasn't going to castigate this guy. I was going to be serious about my debate strategy. And if you have no information, then I'm not going to listen to you. If you can't prove it. So I just wanted to share that because we can do better, ladies and gentlemen. We have a far stronger case than any separatist could ever comport or write into anything. we know what that is doing. And I believe that this AISH thing is a direct tie-in to the separatist movement. It is part and parcel of the holistic thing that is going on at the moment. And it really upset me that people acted that way to this guy. I mean, you know, he's not an alien, okay? He's not. Um, he's a human being, and he has thoughts, and I would want to hear those thoughts. And it's my greatest pleasure in life to defeat bad thoughts. Right? It is a joy that you know, as much as playing drums is, debating is, and so yeah. So let's do a better job out there. If you come to my protest, man, we're going to have the information. We're going to be giving information. Everything that Pam has been doing and telling people about this, and myself and the other people there are just giving them information. And so many people are coming up to us and saying, "I'm on AISH and I'm stand with you. I want to come out. When's the next time I can come out?" So that's what I have to say about that. Chantal, anything on that?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I get passionate about that because we're losing opportunities. We're not gaining them in that respect.
Yeah.
You know,
And you're not, and you haven't downplayed not once that everybody is frustrated, everybody is terrified, nobody knows what July 1st holds. You know, it makes sense that people are starting to push back or starting to take an interest in what's going on because information is circulating. We're probably into the thousands of people that are accessing the app for information and for the web or for the audio recordings and stuff like that of all of the
really,
different documents. Oh yeah.
wow,
So like we're at what 650 people on 660 people, sorry, on the Facebook group.
wow,
And we're getting more than that in daily traffic on the app.
wow.
So there are people not on Facebook that are still accessing this information.
Right, right. That is amazing. And yes, people are starting to freak out. And you're absolutely right. And I think that's the mama in you that I love so much, which is, you know, we can understand that people are freaking out. We can understand that you're angry. You are full of fear. And, you know, we are, I mean, I'm on AISH. Chantel's on AISH. We feel the same way every day. 80,000 people feel the same way you do every day. And we get it. We get it. I just feel that when we're out in public, we can come with Socrates on our back, not uh, not the WEF, or the WWE, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you don't want the WEF on your back either, but we don't want to come with that kind of weight on our shoulders, right? We don't want to come with a fight. We want to come with some Socratic understanding, with an argument that supersedes the lack of knowledge other people have and other people possess. Now, they'll probably still walk away with you, but they'll know you've beaten them and you've given them nothing of value to them in order to castigate you or put you down or make you feel, make you look in the public eye the way that looked to me on that video. Just angry people trying to shut a guy down. There's nothing there. So, so if you want, we'll get on to today's hijinks. To what we're doing today. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just looking up what woke means. Because I don't use a lot of this terminology, right?
Right.
But I don't understand how. I don't know. It says woke is a slang term originating from African American English,
Yeah.
meaning to be alert to racial prejudice, discrimination, and social injustice. What Why is that a bad thing, Gavin?
It's not a bad thing, but there is some debate around where the terminology comes from. Now,
Because like I would want to know.
Oh yeah, yeah. The term yeah, no. The terminology actually comes out of a song from a black blues singer, I believe in the 20s. Was the first one to use it in a song. So it was really his construction, you know. I forget what the lyric was specifically, but that was kind of the etymology of the term. And the term, when it was used in the 20s, was exactly what you're saying, right? It was used for those purposes. Today, it has broadened out, and the way that the opposition will use it is in exactly the ways that I described, right? They are using that terminology holistically to describe the liberal class, the liberal voter, uh, gay rights, um, transgendered rights, anything that is of any social comport, they are using that terminology. Now, the way that they would use woke, once again, it's a castigating term, and because it has so much around it, I tend not to use the word myself, right? Like if I ever use it, I'll preface, I'll say, you don't have to go woke, but wake the fuck up, right?
Yeah,
And right, and that's really what woke means. Just wake up, right? Wake up to what's going on around you. Um, so what these people will do, though, is they will use this as ammunition against you. So when you go out and you yell and scream and you have nothing but shitty things to say to these people, they will say, look at these woke assholes. Now, that may not mean anything to you, and it actually might mean a good thing. But to every one of them, it means something bad, right? It means, you know, teaching an 8-year-old in school how to have sex, or, you know, books in libraries for 8-year-olds, blah, 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 right? It's all of that combined. So I am not an advocate of that. I have, I think, a balanced and a nuanced approach to all that. And I think we should. We should be balanced and nuanced when it comes to children, absolutely. But they are going to use it and they're going to weaponize it, right? They're going to say, look at these woke assholes. That will probably be their tagline. You see? So by acting...
Well, because I know that there was a video from Smith saying that she wants to stop the wokeism.
And that's her base. She's appealing to her base there. And they are saying, fuck yeah.
So is that more like her way of saying, stop questioning my government because I want you all to be sheeple?
No, what she's doing is aligning ideologically with what her base believes. So her base doesn't believe necessarily, I mean, it's ambiguous, right? You can't, if I say anything, then I'll have to explain every part of that because there's nuance in all of it. But to state it kind of plainly, gay rights, transgendered rights, social programs like AISH. What else would be woke? I don't know, you know, whatever is liberal minded, and I don't mean liberal government minded, I mean the liberal individual, the person who thinks liberally, right? Because the liberal government isn't as liberal as you think they are. So it's all of these things wrapped into one thing. One word, woke, right? And so as soon as her base, this is red meat to them. It's when she says the word woke, it's like, you know, a bunch of pit bulls on a steak. You see? And so that's what it means to them. And you know, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't think we want that. I don't think we need that label, woke, to do the job we're doing. And once again, the video that I just showed you is a good way to define woke, right? The fact that you don't come with an argument, because you didn't, as far as I can tell, come with an argument. You called a guy an asshole. Well, that's not an argument. That's not a debate strategy. That's being the same kind of dick that guy is, right? As a matter of fact, he didn't call it.
He just got it on camera.
And he didn't, and he didn't call anybody a dick. He just nodded and
Nope.
agreed. Yep, no, go ahead.
Yep.
Fuck, I'm getting it all right here. Boom, boom. Who's next? Who's next? Please call me an asshole. That was his whole strategy. You played into that strategy, and you got caught. Don't any one of you ever go to war, because you'll be the first ones to get shot. Literally, you need strategy. These people are in a war, right? And it is a class war. It is not the middle class. Warren Buffett said this in the 70s or in the 2000s, early 2000s, being interviewed on NBC or one of these programs. He said, there is a class war. And it's the rich class and the working class, and my class, the rich class, is winning it. He just came out and said it. Right? It should not be the liberal and the conservative against each other. It should be the conservative and the liberal working in tandem to destroy and, well, to collapse the functions of government that doesn't work. Instead, we're just arguing. And that's exactly what your fucking government wants. They are the happiest when you hate each other. I can tell you that. And this division, this separation, this divide is doing none of us any good. Because in order to change our place, our station in this planet, we're going to have to come together. It's going to have to be the working class, liberal, conservative, new Democrat, doesn't fucking matter. We're all going to have to come together. Otherwise, we're going to continue to suffer at the hands of where our true opposition lies, and that is the government. Full stop. Wholesale. Your neighbor is not your enemy. Your neighbor is your friend. And you have to start to understand that, ladies and gentlemen. That your neighbor is your friend. He may not act like it, and he may think, you see, here's what else happens. Your neighbor thinks you're an asshole, so you immediately think your neighbor's an asshole. But you don't have to think that your neighbor's an asshole. You don't have to think that way, and you don't have to fight with him. You can just say, man, you do you. That's great. Perfect. And watch him destroy himself if he wants. But this tit for tat thing, hate for hate, is not working. And the one thing the liberally minded would say is that they want to love everyone. But that's not true, because you don't love your neighbor. You hate him just as much as he hates you. And that needs to stop. We need to come together. And that's the beauty of AISH right now, is we're all coming together. 80,000 people. And we're dropping whatever, ideological differences we have, the way that we may think on one issue versus another. We're putting that all to bed for now, because there's something more important than what I think and what you think, and that is the fact that we're all going to suffer a horrendous catastrophe come July 1st. That's greater than every one of us and every thought we have. So I love y'all. I hope this doesn't feel like I'm preaching at you. I'm not. I'm just saying we can do better when we're out there, and we can get out there. Let's get out there and see what happens. Okay. Sorry, did it sound like I was preaching?
No,
No? Okay.
no,
Good.
I think it's definitely something that needed to be said.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything to add? Do you want to go with stuff?
Oh, just 1 second. I've got somebody at the door.
Sure, go ahead. I'll maybe get into this. Okay, so last week, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about the drivers of civic and biopsychosocial breakdown. So the reasons why our cities break down, our funding breaks down, and why we break down. And so I'm just going to go through these really quick. The first one is chronic economic instability. So when you are economically unstable, that is going to break you down. It's going to break your mental health down. And obviously, if you can't eat, it's going to break your biology down, which then affects your psychology. Okay, so chronic economic instability, social isolation, and civic atomization. So when you see things, when you don't go out of your house, that's not a good thing for you. Societies were built on ironing, sharpening iron. One's thoughts um, being met by another's thoughts. Like I'm talking about this guy on Saturday, right? Um, you could use your thoughts to sharpen his thoughts and vice versa. There's no reason why you can't. Um, and civic atomization, where everything becomes centralized, like with downtown, with the art sector and everything like that. It's no longer about the budding artist in the community. It's about centralizing art to downtown. That's called atomization or centralization, and it does away with the participation of most individuals. So that's number two. So we have chronic economic instability. We got that. Social isolation, being alone, and centralizing, where we do things, no longer in the community. The loss of meaning and civic purpose. So government takes over your civic purpose. You no longer feel attached to your political system, which is exactly what's taking place right now. Right? We are so disconnected from politics that we can't get anybody to hear us. Nobody wants to listen to us. Right? And the loss of meaning. Right? So you start to wonder, if I have no effect, then what do I mean? Right? What is the meaning I have in society? Maybe I don't mean anything. And this is not a healthy society. A healthy society makes you feel like you belong, right? Um, Institutional distance and opacity. So once again, institutions are there, right? The federal government is 3,000 miles away. It's distance from you, and opacity, meaning that you can't see through the walls. You don't know what's going on inside there, right? It's distanced itself from you, and it's become this thing that you can't see through. And that is against the greater part of the way humanity works. You need to know in order to make decisions. And the government is making sure that you don't know, so you can't make any decisions. And then you become confused, and they're too far away for you to do anything about it. So this is what happens. Hyper-managerial systems. So stick with me, hyper-managerial systems. What that means is that other people take care of your issues. So you call 311 because you can't call the mayor anymore. And this managerial class goes, oh, well, we'll get that to her right away. And nothing happens. And then you have a managerial class for everything so that the people that should be accountable are no longer accountable. Right? And then all you get to do is bitch at this customer service representative, and your legitimate grievance is never brought to the individual at the top. This is a construction, and they know why they construct it that way, so that the top never have to answer for anything. It's very simple. And what this does inside you, once again, we're talking about biology, psychology, and environment or sociology, right? So the hypermanagerial system, you just get frustrated. You get angry. That's your psychology. When you get angry, your biology suffers and you get a stomach ache. Oh, what? I'm so frustrated now I got a stomach ache. You see what I mean? These things are of direct impact to you as a human being. They are for every human being. Cultural and artistic depletion. So this is a big one. Even though some of you may not consider yourself artists, this is a very big consideration that I'm talking about, okay? Let me come back to you here. So what I'm talking about is cultural and artistic depletion. It is my contention that everyone in the world, every human being that has ever lived, lives today, or will live, is artistic. That can be met out in the form of a form of science. It can be met out in a form of the arts. It can be met out in terms of medicine, but art is created by everyone. The way you do things, the way you creatively think. You see what I mean? That's an artistic expression, and it's unique to you. Well, I mean, other people might have similar thoughts, but your thoughts are unique to you, and they should be respected and honored. And if you don't have that outlet to be your creative self, which is the only reason I can think about the reason we live, right, is to know and to be known and to create amongst our brothers and sisters that we now castigate the way I just said we did. If you're not using your artistic expression, that is going to damage your psychology. And then your psychology feeds your biology. And if you're not living in an environment, if you're living, in an environment that sucks the creative life out of you, this is your environmental or sociological living arrangement, right? So the society doesn't want you to participate, right? They say, let the professionals take care of that. And yet you might have the greatest voice that history has ever known, but you'll never know it because you don't belong to the club. So you start to suffer because you have this thing that is greater than you that wants to get out. You see what I mean? I hope you understand that. And every person that has ever lived, lives today, or will in the future, creates culture. Okay? Managerial systems do not create culture. They create the opposite of culture, which is insulation. Right? Culture is the opposite, is spread amongst an entire geography, an entire world, and every person in the world participates in creating culture in their own unique way. We don't have culture anymore in the way that it was designed or first defined to be, right? And once again, if you're not creating, then, and if you're not being a part of the culture creation of your geography, then why exist, right? It's a fair question. It's not the last question to ask, but it's a fair question. I've asked myself that. And I've traveled the world playing music from Russia to Paris to all over the world. Okay? And I've asked myself, what does it all mean? Like, what does the industry mean? Why is the industry sucking the life out of its people? That's not culture. That's something else. That's commodification. So the breakdown of reciprocity, people disengage when sacrifice becomes one directional. So I see this right now, and I'll speak to it, ladies and gentlemen. I see this at the protests. I see that people are not coming out, and this is the breakdown of reciprocity. People disengage, right? And they want other people to do their work for them. Well, nobody's going to do your work for you. Now, what does that mean? Doesn't mean you don't need to go to work. It just means there's something in all of us that we can do. In every human being, there's something that we can all do, and you need to figure that out, maybe with the help of a few friends, exactly what that one thing is. And then you do it. You may not be able to come to a protest. That's fine. You may be able to type on a computer and send an email. You do that. You see what I mean? And for those that can, they should absolutely be coming to protest this, because your life is going to not be the same as you know it today come July 1st. That's true for almost 80,000 people. Okay? So you can sit at home and say, you can be nihilistic and think that, the world's going to end. Or you can say, no fucking way is the world going to end. And if it does end, it's going to end on my terms, not theirs. You see what I mean? This is what we can do. This is what you can do. Okay? Fragmented physical civic geometry. So this is another big one, and I'll explain what I mean. That's a big, statement to make, and it lacks definition. Fragmented physical civic geometry. So there are geometries that work better for the holistic benefit, the overall benefit of our species. After the Second World War, most North American cities expanded on a grid system. The grid system of expansion, although it is economical in terms of how many places can be set up, it separates people automatically from one another, right? Boom, boom, go. Everybody's got their little block, okay? And they just extend outward, and there's no sort of wraparound effect of social cohesion, right? Social proximity. You're not really close to your neighbor, right? And politics also has taken out of the equation that we should get to know our neighbor, right? Working as fucking much as we do has taken away our ability to know our neighbor, right? Bylaws and everything else. Oh, that guy's garbage can, man. That's bugging me. 311, 311. That has driven us apart. I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist. I'm saying that all of these things together create the kind of ecosystem we live in today. Okay? So what we need to do, instead of being fragmented, is come back together. Now, I have created a proposal, a 20, 30-page proposal on how this looks in every district, in every city in Alberta, and every city in Canada, and practically every city in the world. I have done that work to show how we can come back together, how we can suffer less psychological breakdown, just by being in proximity to one another, having our government embedded in our districts, that we, the people, partake in the act of the political, and that our voices are the voices that actually make up the laws and the legislations that go into our community. It's possible. It's not romantic. It is possible. And I'll share that at another time. Okay, I'm just looking here. I just want to see her check being cut to, and she's 70 fucking hell, huh? 70 years old. Sad. CPP and her rent went up $200 in a retirement home. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's all happening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's all happening at once. These aren't isolated incidents. You're losing $200. You're going to be forced out to work. Your rent is going up. You see what I mean? This is a total squeeze. And anyone living on this planet, is not going to be able to sustain themselves or their mental health or their biological health. This is why this is so important. This is why this is so important. So I'm just going to come back. Oh, she's not there. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to take a second, Pam, and see what you've been writing. Yep. So this is the way it goes. Fragmented physical, civic geometry. Okay, I think I've dealt with that, and I hope you understand what that means. All right. So I'll just make this as a closing line. A society does not decay all at once. It decays when people no longer feel connected. A society does not decay at once. Okay? All right? It's line upon line, precept on precept, until every line creates more weight and pushes you down so far that you can no longer lift yourself up, and there's no one there to lift you up. That's what we have seen. Doesn't happen like that. Doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up and everything's changed. It's these incremental things. $200 lost a month, rent increase, ADAP have to work program. All of these things are pushing you down, and they are too heavy on your own to sustain yourself and push through. That's why we are 80,000 people strong, and that's why I'm trying to get as many people to my protests as I can, so that we can scream and yell at these douchebags in City Hall and get them to act, get them to be embarrassed, get them to sweat and do their fucking job. You understand? I hope you understand that. So now, today I promised to not only deal with the bad, all right, to deal with the bad things, I want to deal with the good things, all right, because there is, for everything that I've just mentioned, there is an opposite of that. And the opposite is what we want to focus on so we can ultimately get to where we want to be. Every person in this world wants to be somewhere. They want to survive and they want to thrive. And so this next phase of today's podcast is going to deal with what it looks like to thrive, how we can create systems that do thrive, and how we can thrive, therefore, and our neighbors can thrive. Everybody can thrive. Nobody's angry anymore. Nobody hates. Nobody's disgusted. People can speak their mind and nobody's offended. You see what I mean? And this is possible. I'm just going to go back to Facebook one more time. Just check out what's up. Nothing is up. So, but I do see you still in there, Pam. So, what creates healthy citizens? Healthy citizens create a healthy society. So here's the thesis. Healthy citizens are not produced by economics alone. Okay? Healthy citizens are not produced by economics alone. Economics go a long way, but they're not everything. They emerge from stability, which you could argue is economical. Meaning, which means you have the economics in order to find meaning. Meaning you can be sustainable enough to find out your place, your station in this world. What does it mean? What does it mean to the world that you exist? You can do that if you have the ability and the mental bandwidth to figure it out and ask the question and search for that thing. They emerge from stability, meaning participation, meaning that you are not an island, and even the best creative minds and voices didn't come out of a vacuum. They knew how to communicate those things. They had great thoughts, but they took their thoughts from antiquity, from Socrates and Plato and Aristotle and Thomas Paine and, you know, all of these great thinkers, right? And so participation is key. Participation is collaboration, and any musician or actor worth his salt has had to collaborate and has gained much from that collaboration. Dignity, right? And how does dignity show up? Well, really by these four things. Culture, right? So it emerges from culture. And if you don't have a culture, or you have a vapid one, meaning that you have a meaningless culture where, you know, the National Enquirer tells you what culture is, that's not a culture. All right, that's commodification, right? And it's also zoning in on the worst part of humanity when we should be looking at the best parts of humanity. And visible belonging. So you visibly belong, you know you belong. I think Pam and I have experienced this with each other. So, yeah, are you back, Chantal? Because you've got your mute on, you're not talking.
Sorry, I have a house full. Just give me a few more minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, you go. Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't ignoring her, because she is in here. Oh, but that's because, okay. Giddy. Okay, so they emerge from, healthy citizens are not produced by economics alone. They emerge from stability, meaning, participation, dignity, culture, and visible belonging. And I'll say it again, I think that's what Pam and I experienced when we started doing this together. You know, we started to feel like we really belonged, right? We felt like we were doing something important. And I don't know, I feel a certain kinship with this great Indigenous woman that I have met even with all her struggles and my struggles, we've really come together to forge a path for 80,000 people, and we want to see 80,000 people forging that path with us. I mean, her and I can stomp the ground. It's going to take a long time to level the grass out. If you have 80,000 people walking the same path, we're going to level the ground pretty damn quick. You see what I'm saying? So, talking points. A society cannot medically or police its way out of alienation. So society cannot medically cannot medically get itself out of this problem, right? So what do we do now? We've got a myriad of a cocktail of drugs, a full cornucopia, right, where we can just stick our hand in like it's fucking Halloween, pull them out and shove them down our throat. That's not going to produce a healthy society. That's a coping mechanism at best. And I know I am on a very good anti-anxiety antidepressant. Okay, so I'm not here. This isn't shame. What I'm doing is showing you the way things work. The antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication was a lifesaver for me, an absolute lifesaver, because it helped me cope. But that's all it does. It doesn't create better societies. It just helps you cope. And then once you learn how to cope in the moment, in the epoch that you're in, all of a sudden the government says you need to work 3 more hours a day, or you need 2 more jobs. There comes a point where the human species simply, at once and all, cannot cope anymore. There's no drug in the world, or not enough of them, for you to be able to cope with what is not copable, right? And this is what the government does, right? Well, people are stressed out. No, they got to fucking work 15 hours a day, but just give them this antidepressant and move along. And that's what we see. And it can't police its way out of it. So you can't make laws strong enough for people not to feel things. You see? So we all feel things. And when we are depressed, when we are alone, we, like I just explained above, we start to fall to the most nefarious parts of ourselves. And those parts are the ones that, that ultimately bring up some kind of activity that is not, it's not in tandem with the laws we have and the way we work as a society. But you can't police your way out of people having bad thoughts. And you can't police your way out of people doing bad things. That's not a police action. That is an action of environment, right? Your environment dictates how you're going to react. If you live in a good environment, let's say your mom and dad are great, and they give you some money, and they also make you work for some, and they love you, but they don't put up with your shit, but they teach you about life, and they teach you what it means to think philosophically and pragmatically. That's your environment. And that will constitute the best chance you have at a healthy outcome. Doesn't always mean that. And there are the other 2 things, biologically and psychologically. Your kids may not be healthy. Nobody's necessarily healthy in today's economy. I can assure you of that, ladies and gentlemen. And we only have COVID to look at to see the world in a mass psychosis. So, I'll keep going. Hey, you're back.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. I had somebody stop by at the house here to drop off some stuff for my daughter, and then my kids all came home, and it was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, no. I
Got bombarded with agenda books and homework that came home, and oh my goodness.
Oh.
And then I did finally get an email back from that central intake email that was shut down over the weekend.
And?
It is back up and writing. Or
Okay.
back up and running.
And running. Fucking A. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can once again email and fax all the information you
Well,
need.
at least email. I don't know if the fax is still up or not.
Okay. Email. You can email. And and what a great thing that is. So perhaps there was fuckery, perhaps there wasn't. We don't know. But
Either way, they were called on it very quickly and fixed it.
well, and you of course were, I think, leading that charge, along with a lot of other people. But you put it out there that this was the problem of the moment.
Yeah.
So good for you. I mean, good for you. Um, yeah. So I don't know if you've been able to listen, but I've just been sharing regarding, I just kind of gave a synopsis of what creates an unhealthy society. And now I'm on to describing what does create a healthy society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had you in one ear. I just had to turn down a bit while I was yabbering with everybody that was coming in the front door.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So basically, I'm just saying that a society cannot medically induce itself out of a bad society, right? There aren't enough
Yeah.
drugs in the world for people that have to work 3 jobs and barely get by and not have enough food to eat. You can't drug regulate a person's health that way.
No.
The only way that that person will become healthy is to not work 3 jobs and to work maybe 4 to 6 hours a day and enjoy the rest of their day with their family, some form of recreation,
Yeah.
some creative time. These are what creates a healthy society. Going to your neighbors and having a nice glass of Chardonnay and having a great steak. These are the things that create healthy societies. I don't like steak and I don't drink, but I know some people like that shit.
Yeah, but the community metaphor is still there.
Yeah, and you can't. There aren't enough drugs in the world, and there's not enough drug powerful enough for you not to have to work 3 jobs. So you might take medication because you're stressed out and you're working a job and a half, but that medication ain't going to work at 3 jobs and kids screaming and you not being able to feed them for 10 days out of the month. That's because that goes against the very nature of your being. And when that goes against the nature of your psychology, then your biology starts to suffer. All of a sudden, oh my God, like I said, I got a headache, or I got a headache, I got a stomach ache, right? That's your biology reacting to your psychology. And this is the environment you live in. Everything is biological, psychological, and sociological. They all tie together. You could use spiritual. I just don't know where you would use it. You could use it maybe in meditation practice, which is beautiful for the body and beautiful for the mind. You don't have to go freaky like you're on some planet with Gazoo. It doesn't have to go there unless you want it to. It can just be that state of calm that brings you back into you, right? And makes you feel a sense of peace. And when you feel peace, you can feel love. And so after you've gained the benefits of that peace, then you go out to your neighbor and your neighbor's not stressed and you're all having a good time. And then you want to put on some fucking Guns N' Roses and just, kill it to Banff for the weekend. Fucking great, right? This is the life we are supposed to lead. It really is. And that's not the whole of it. And you got anything to say about that, Chantal?
No, I think you covered it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for every individual, there has to be a balance.
Exactly. There you go.
Like for me, when I was working in that underwriting office for 7 years, every time that I spent the night to catch us up, right? Every time that I burnt the candle at both ends, it ended up turning into gallbladder issues.
Right. Well, then you experienced it full force.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happens. I know. I don't know. It was like a week ago. I was going to do something stressful, and all of a sudden, I had to go to the can like 3 times.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't happen on a normal day. But I was stressed out.
It's just how your body was doing the stress dance.
Exactly. And so we know that better than anybody. I mean, the AISH community is really in what would you say? We're in we have a great proximity to our mental biological state. We know what is going on inside us and why that is happening. to, I think, a very great degree. We can ascertain those things, and we know the mind and body are connected.
Exactly.
Yeah. A society cannot medically blah, blah, blah. And you can't police your way out of it, right? There's no cop that's
Yep.
going to make you stop thinking a bad thought. And if your bad thought comes on by stress or by pressure or any of these things, there's no policeman in the world that is going to be able to talk you off the ledge in perpetuity. He might talk you off the one, but he probably won't talk you off the 100th one. And I mean that metaphorically, ladies and gentlemen. Please understand what I mean. You can't police your way out of this. Human beings require stability, purpose. What do I mean? Where do I belong? What's my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Recognition. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Shit, I haven't seen you, man. How's the wife? How's Mary? You know, right? You need to be recognized. That's why, you know, in Cheers, right? Norm or whatever it was, right? Whenever he walked into the bar, right? Everybody would say his name. You want to go where people go, right? Well, people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You see, that's the kind of environment we want to be in because we need it as people, but not in a bar. Your next door neighbor. Reciprocity, right? Right? And I'll show reciprocity in real time. Chantal, do you have anything to say about that?
I'm actually sending you a video that I ended up coming across this weekend regarding a rat test that was done where they gave the rats two different bottles. One was just clean water, and the other one was like heroin or a mix of cocaine. And having that rat in a empty cage, the rat would always go to the drugs, always going towards the drugs because there was nothing enriching in that environment. Another scientist ended up seeing that study, and they thought, well, that's not really a good study because the cage is empty. There's no enrichment. There's nothing like that's giving the rat the reason not to indulge. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So he did his own study and he created something, what was it that he parsed, that it was rat park. So there were community, like he put another rat community in there. He put lots of enrichment in there, put like lots of food, lots of things to keep the rat's mind off of the need for drug substitution. And in that experiment, the rat didn't go for the drugs. He had the option, right? Because both bottles were still there as part of the experiment.
Yep.
But it's the same kind of thing as what I've been saying about our cage that we live in, right? We've been isolated. There's no enrichment because we can't afford it, right? Our community has been so, what is it? I don't want to say backburnered, but we've been penalized for being the way that we are.
Yes.
Hey. Oh my goodness, my dog is barking at people as they're walking by. Hey! I've got privacy flats in the fence and everything, and he's still like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr."
Right.
They're gone, B.
He's just a rat in a cage. Well, I've heard that. I've heard that what do we call it?
The study?
Yeah, the study, the research. And yes, it's amazing, right? They put one rat in an empty cage and they gave him water and heroin. And it wasn't long until all he did was do the heroin. And then, like you're saying, they built a rat community and tons of rats and food. And I think the one rat had food, just the one. He still had food, access to food and everything else. But he kept going back to the heroin. In this other community, they still had the choice. They had two bottles, right? And they had water and heroin. And the rats refused to take any of the heroin at all. So we wonder where drug abuse comes from, right?
Yeah.
Now, could it be biological?
Isolation.
Right, and it could be biological with some people, but give yourself more credit. And also castigate those who would create the single cage. In this case, it was literally created by the scientist, right? If you could have spoken as that one rat, you'd say, hey, get me out of this fucking cage and get me with my brothers and sisters. So we need to be speaking up about those about being a rat in a cage and partaking in community. And that's why I have created my proposal. 30 pages of how to do community geometrically, politically, in every metric, artistically, philosophically, every metric you can think of, to bring us back into proximity to one another so that we are all a community of good-looking rats running around, not taking heroin.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, thank you for sharing that, because that study shows the actual, scientific evidence of otherwise theory.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well, I'm always doing research.
Oh, I know you are. And no, I love that study. I really have always liked that study. So reciprocity, right? Just like when I asked Chantal her thoughts, and then she blew me away with this study, right? We need that. We are iron sharpening iron. We need reciprocity. Hey, can you help me for 5 minutes doing this thing? And then 3 days later, you're reversing that. You're helping somebody else. This is a healthy community. We don't do that. We are so isolated. Everybody is, not just the AISH community, although we by and large are, more so. Participation, once again, right? You need to be participating in something in your community. Now, I'm not saying go out and participate. What I'm saying is that it is extremely difficult for you to participate. And you need participation as a part of your life, collaboration, coming together, right? Whew, bless me.
Bless you.
I don't know how loud that was, but because I think I did it into my mic, but you need to participate. You need to collaborate. You need to be able to share your thoughts. And whether you play the ukulele and the maracas, you still need the maraca player, you need collaboration. That creates a healthy mind. That creates a beautiful mind. Beautiful minds don't come out of isolation. They come out of collaboration with other people.
Yeah.
Well,
that's how we met.
Go ahead. What's that?
I said, that's how we met, collaboration.
That's exactly how we met. And every day that I've known you has been nothing short of a blessing in my life. Right? I can't say that about everybody I know, but I can say that about you. Right?
I just try to get you looking at things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But not forcefully.
No, never forcefully. And I love you for it. I think we allow us to be ourselves. I think we do.
Yeah.
I never say, well, Chantal, don't say, no. Chantal, please speak. Because every time Chantal speaks, there is some, meta prophecy that comes out of her. And by prophecy, I mean poetry, which is actually the actual word of the prophecy. Prophecy was never used as something claimed to be unseen. That was not the definition of prophecy. Prophecy was poetry. The poet. The poet was the prophet. And so, yeah. Beauty. Human beings require beauty, right? So we need nature, including nature, the beauty of nature, the beauty of the mountains, and actually going there and touching the mountain, not just looking at it from a haze around our city, but actually touching the ground, right? We need beauty in relationships, right? Culture. We need culture, and we don't have culture. Other people have culture, or they create culture, they say, and then they superimpose that culture onto us. And that's how we live in culture. But we don't live culture. because culture is you participating every moment of every day, every human being creating in their own unique way. That's the only way culture can be created. It can't be created in Hollywood. That doesn't mean that Hollywood can't create a movie and you could call that culture, but if all you've got is Hollywood, you don't have culture. And social trust. And boy, do we not have that today. Wow. You got anything to say on that?
Well, just the level of mistrust when it comes to everything.
Yeah.
There was an instance this weekend where there was a little bit of a bicker back and forth. I don't want to call it a thread fight because that's not what it was. Well, I had two people in the community Facebook group that had two conflicting points of view, but they weren't 100% conflicting. But both individuals were so stubborn-headed in their conviction of what their point was. It was like, oh my God, kids, like, knock it off, right? It was unbelievable. So I cut into it and I dropped some truth, like not to intervene in their little back and forth spat, but I had let it go on for a few hours because I thought they should be able to burn themselves out. Right? It's the same thing with kids, the same thing with animals. The dog's only going to chase the cat until he gets tired. Right? So I dropped some truth in the thread, and all of a sudden everything stopped. I didn't take anybody's one side. It was okay. Yeah, I see your point of view. Valid. Absolutely great. Next person. Yep, you are valid to this extent. Awesome. Great. But that has nothing to do with the actual theme of what is on the post itself.
Right. Right.
And I had to own that because it was something that I had posted that I guess well, it didn't belong on that video, right? But I wasn't going to correct myself at that point because there was no point. It was already in the works in the thread. I had made the comment regarding a separatist video that I had posted to the community page about if we separated from Canada, we would lose our military. Because the military is federal. It's not provincial. Somebody's argument was, well, no, we have two bases here in Alberta, here and here, and the military would stay. They absolutely would not. The federal government would pull them, they would collapse the bases, they would take everything out of them, and they would move to different provinces. That's how that would work, right? So I just hit them with facts.
Right.
And then the other person was calling that other one an idiot. I don't like that word. I really don't like that word. I don't like tearing somebody down in the prospect of trying to sell your opinion or your stance. That's not the way to do it. I don't condone name calling in my house, and I definitely don't in the community. Everybody should feel welcome, safe, and heard. That's the whole point of the disability system breakdown.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Is that you come in, you have something to share, you are able to share it safely and respectfully, and if somebody doesn't agree with you, keep scrolling.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody can coexist.
Well, of course we can, and we can coexist even when we're disagreeing, and even when we're passionate about our disagreement. I had one of those this weekend when my post for the protest was, they are the servant, you are the
sovereign.
You are the thank you. You are the sovereign.
I saw the post.
Oh, you did?
I see everything. Yeah.
Oh, but did you see this interaction between me and some other?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, if it's in the comments thread, yeah, I scroll through all of that.
Yeah.
I watch the groups.
Yeah, and so this individual asked if this was like a no kings thing. And I'm like, well, and I've had interactions with this individual before, so I wasn't pulling the trigger for the first time. And so I kind of know how they roll, how they operate, right? And I said, well, you're taking a metaphor and you're making it the thing when the metaphor is not the thing, and the thing is written entirely over the expanse of this poster, what it is. So why are you questioning no kings when it's about AISH-to-ADAP, and everyone knows that. Why do that? I said, this is the narcissism of minor differences, right? You want to take something and blow it out of proportion, and I don't appreciate it. It's not appreciated by me because it's subversion. It's a subversion technique. It's not genuine. And if it were the first time to happen, I would probably treat it differently. But when that behavior continues, I don't take it as simple oops. I take it as someone, wanting to start nothing. And so the last post I put, I just said, I said, here it is. This is the way it is. And now let's do something useful.
Yeah.
And they
Put that energy somewhere constructive.
Yeah, and they still couldn't do it, but they wouldn't have the last word, and I let them. Because I don't want to care about those things. We're doing this for a reason. So of course, but once again, I've lived in the studio for most of my life, the recording studio, and this goes on all the time. Now, not this silly kind of mamby-pamby shit. I'm talking about like real disagreements. Like, no, we can't do that there because this has to happen. And somebody's, well, I really like that. And so you really get into it. Like you go, well, it doesn't necessarily matter what you want. It matters about what works. And man, you'll go back and forth and you might have to go out for a smoke. You have to chill out. But nobody leaves that environment upset. Because we're doing something greater than ourselves, which is we're creating. And within that dynamic, I've never been upset leaving a session, except maybe on a few occasions, but I won't worry, I won't bother you. But by and large, that fieriness of, hey man, like we got to look at it this way. Times, when you're in the studio, time is money, right? We can't be talking about everything you want to do. And we got to get down to brass tacks. And, I remember one time I wanted used to be a great friend of mine, wanted him to play this bass note on something. And so I brought it to his attention. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then we played, we rolled the tape and played the song, and I didn't hear him. And I'm like, dude, you gotta play the fucking note, man. I'm like, come on. Right. And he's like, oh yeah. Right. And so, and didn't, right. And finally, I was like, I came out of the drum room and I was just so upset. I'm like, why won't you play that fucking note, right? And he's like, I actually am. So I listened back to the tape and I'm like, oh shit, sorry, you are, But it's that kind of fieriness. I don't mind that, even in a person like I had to argue with today. I don't mind that. Just let's get down to it, right? What are we doing? Are we here for your little, weird thing, or are we here for 80,000 people? Right.
So I just have a little bit of a clarifying question, because you know how my brain works.
Yep.
I remember your sign saying about sovereignty, right? Or that you're like being sovereign,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So how Buddy picked it up and said, well, yeah, that's like king, absolute, blah, blah, blah. I think what that individual might have been trying to understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes I am.
Yep.
Your use of sovereignty is more aligned with the autonomous individual.
Yeah.
So self-governance.
Self-sovereignty, yes.
Right?
Yep.
So he came at it from the actual, like the scale of the authority. So sovereignty is absolute supreme power over a territory. That's how he was understanding it. Because a lot of people don't know what autonomy actually is, what self-autonomy is. Like I teach that to my kids already here in the house. Like they can say no to me if I have a request that they don't feel that they can fulfill. They're allowed to say no, because that's part of learning your self-autonomy. That was something I never learned growing up. So that's very important. To always question whatever powers or authority supposedly governs over you. If it makes you uncomfortable, you are allowed to say no.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to promote in our group, in our podcast, and blah, blah, blah. That what the government is doing to 80,000 people is wrong. And that it takes that individual to stand up and say, hey, no, we're not doing that.
Right. It takes your sovereign citizenry away.
Yeah.
Right. And you are sovereign in that respect. I think people have flipped that to the sovereign, meaning the king, but the
Yeah.
sovereign are the people. They are the sovereign, meaning that they are
Well,
more.
there's two different scales for authority on that. So I think people just get really caught up in what those two definitions would be, instead of, let's say, hitting Google and going, hey, define sovereignty for me. It would explain both of those bases to you, but we are all keyboard warriors to some extent. We don't stop first and go, oh, hey, there's technology for this to make my argument a little bit more solid. Right? I
Yep.
hit Google constantly. If I don't know how to spell a word, I Google it. If I don't know a topic, I Google it, because my credibility is very important. But so is the credibility in what other people are saying. So if I don't understand, like that individual there with regards to the sovereignty thing, I would have approached it from a academic perspective. Let me try and understand what he means by that.
Right.
Right? So I would plug in the phrase that is really chapping my ass, and I'd be like, okay, what does this mean? And I would have either Google, AI, or whomever explain to me what it is that that means.
Right.
The technology is available. You
Right.
can always expand your knowledge base. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going, I don't know.
Right. Right.
That's how things get done. That's how you change your trajectory in your life, is just by being informed.
Yes.
And nobody's gonna say, oh, you had to Google that.
Right. You dummy. Yeah. No. Nobody's gonna. Yeah. Nobody's
Like,
gonna
that's
do
the
that.
whole reason why it was created in the first place, was information.
Right. Right. Agreed. You know, and I think, you know, once again, I mean, in the way that
You
my
know me,
post
I've got
was,
to be a pain in your butt.
no, but just the way, you know, my post was handled, I'm saying that they are the servant, you are the sovereign. So that is the opposite of king,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because all of the public officials are public servants.
Right. So I've actually defeated the argument just in the statement itself. You are
Yeah.
the sovereign and they are the public, they are the servant. So I can't be talking about kings because every person that lives on earth can't be a king. And if everybody's a king, no one's a king. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I understand that.
yeah.
But our level of knowledge is different than, let's say, the individual that came to you and had an issue with the wording that you were using.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't understand that.
Yeah, and like I said, if it wasn't if it was the first time, I could deal.
Yeah.
But it's been like the third, and I'm like, finally, no, like, you know, cut your shit out. Like, you know, stop. Just stop.
Arguing for the sake of arguing.
Yeah, and I'm like, this isn't about you, man. It's about 80,000 people.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand something, well, I don't Google it. Right, Google it. Yeah, like
Go bug Chantal at her group. She'll break it down for you in easy to absorb pieces. I don't have
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. I run a podcast. I'm doing protests. You know, why not just come out? I mean, can't you see through it anyway? It's about the protest, man. It's not about what I said. It's about protest. So, you know.
Yeah, well, you can send any problem individual to me. You tag me to the thread. I'll come and say hi.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it
I
at that.
approach everybody as though they're one of my kids.
No, and sometimes you need a mama, you know, like sometimes you don't need the dad going, you know, like,
Yeah,
like
go
fuck
bug
you.
mom.
And once again, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, right? Like, you know, and that's, you know, I think, you know, if I had kids over again, I'd probably be a better husband because I know what I'm not good at.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses. It's part of being human, Gavin. And I've already told you this, I don't know how many times. You don't give yourself enough credit.
I know.
And you know that I'm here as a support for you. I'm here as a support for the community at large.
Yeah.
Anybody can message me. Hell, if you need to phone and talk to me, message me. I'll give you my number and we can shoot the shit. Like, my door is always open. Always open.
Right.
Just keep in mind that I'm not awake 24 hours a day, so if it takes me a little bit to get back to you, I'm in the works. It's coming.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me. You know, just to run this podcast and to do the protests, I mean, you know, today I hadn't sent out it was Pam, you know, that said it. I hadn't sent out the link to the show. And she's like, "Are you going to send me the link?" I'm like, "Oh my God." Oh, fuck. Like, you know, because I've been
Yep.
doing 10 things. And
And I was worried about sleeping in after my nap. Oh my goodness, my back was just killing me.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm doing work for a client in BC, editing video work. And so, yeah, it's tough, ladies and gentlemen, but we will do everything we can to talk to you and to get back to you and to personally, you know, extend ourselves to you. Not in some chain fucking email that you're going to get from the government. I can tell you that.
And I will never, ever put an automatic email response to anything to have to do with the campaign or my group where it says, "Thank you for your email. It'll take us 3 business days to get back to you." That is not how I roll. I hate that we get that already. When that email comes in and it dings on my phone, it comes up on my computer. I have everything linked. So as soon as I see, oh, hey, there's something in the junk mail, I go through that and I respond. And it is me responding.
Huh. So you're going through your junk.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had about 14 or 15 emails from people requesting the form to file for their information, go through my junk mail. And I was like, that's not junk. That's not junk. That's not junk. And I kicked them all back to the inbox.
Yeah.
And I respond to every email individually. Your name is on the email.
Right. And this is the difference, ladies and gentlemen, between a managerial class and people doing work. The managerial class will give you the 3-day notice. We're on it in real time, just so you know that. And we'll do the best we can. We're not perfect, but neither are you. So nobody's perfect here, but we will respond. Absolutely.
Hey, I haven't seen an updated form released from the government in a long time, and I've updated that singular form 3 times in 2 days.
Right. Yeah. No, and if there was any small managerial thing that needed to be done around a new formed government, you'd be the first pick. Because I know you'd run that place like a fucking, you know,
a well-oiled machine.
Well-oiled machine. That's right. So I'll keep going here if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, you know, we have a society cannot medically induce a people to good behavior, and they can't police you out of bad thoughts, right? You're going to have those bad thoughts, and of course you don't want to act on them, but you can't police yourself out of a bad situation. That's not why the cops exist. So a person disconnected from meaningful work, the work you want to do, the work that means something to you, that's what meaningful work is. It can include things you don't want to do, like brush your teeth, but meaningful work on an ongoing basis is the kind of work that you feel nature or God or the universe put you here to do. That's meaningful work. A person disconnected from artistic expression. So if you're disconnected from the artistic side of yourself, then you are not
being true to yourself.
Well, an artistic expression is a release valve, right?
Yeah.
It is a way to release the thoughts, positive or negative, that an individual has. And if you can't do that, then once again, that release valve is closed, and we all know what a pot looks like when it can't release the steam, right? That son of a bitch is going to blow, right? And it's going to make a mess of everything. You need that release valve of creativity. Some people that may be more creative than others or have that spirit of creativeness in them need that all the time. Yeah. And that is the only way they will survive necessarily. Civic voice, right? You need a civic voice. You don't have a civic voice. Thank you very much. You do not have a civic voice. The government has that voice for you, and their voice is at complete odds with what you would say if you could speak. You would be saying, no, you ain't putting fucking ADAP in place. Are you kidding me? But you can't say that. Even 80,000 people are having the hardest time and really not effectively reaching the people that need to hear it. When you're disconnected from that, that is a loss of hope. And nobody knows that more than the AISH recipient does right now, today, in real time. This is us
Yeah.
feeling hopeless. Yeah. Public life, once again, we're disconnected from public life. From, we have the shopping mall to go to. That's the best we do, right? Or the corner store really quick, and then we're back in our silos, not engaging with anyone. So all of these things, a person connected from these things becomes psychologically fragmented. So you fragment, right? You basically split apart. That can come into split personalities at the very worst, or it can just be confusion at the least, right? It can be sadness. It can be hopelessness. Your mind is fragmenting because it has to learn how to cope with everything that should be readily available to you. You have to cope with every little piece of that, broken into 100 fragmented pieces of how to cope with each individual thing. I'm disconnected. I don't have a voice. I can't create, right? And so you have to learn to cope with those. And people were never meant to learn to cope with that many things all at once, all the time.
Yeah, because that's a different state of self-preservation. That's what that is.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah.
A state of self-preservation, yeah. Mental health is not merely biochemical. And that is probably something that we might want to wrestle with, but is absolutely true. Mental health is not merely biochemical. It doesn't mean what I think even well-meaning society thinks it means. I think that we
not every mental health disorder can be medicated and put on the right track.
That's right. And everybody now needs to be diagnosed. Everybody needs a label, right?
Yeah.
But your problem might be that you suck at capitalism. That might be your issue. That's not biochemical. That's natural, right? You naturally do not partake in a system such as capitalism. You would do better with more collaboration, with an easier way of expressing yourself, with an actual way of expressing yourself, with people that want to do that. I have always said I am the world's worst capitalist. I cannot do capitalism. I do not want to commodify my life. I don't want to sell me as a product. I don't want to be a brand. I want to be me, and I want to express me, for the sake of me, believing that somebody in the world might think that's valuable. Not that I have to convince them by a brand that I'm valuable, but that I already hold intrinsic value by being human, being on a planet, and knowing that I exist. I believe, therefore I am, right? Right? Or, sorry, I am, therefore I believe, right? That is basic philosophy. Because we know we exist, we know we exist. And that's really all nature demands of us. So mental health is not merely biological, it is also civic and relational. And, we would go toward the relational and go, well, that makes sense, right? We need to be in a relationship. But civic is the other part of that most people don't think of, right? We need to have our voices heard. We need to be a part of a political apparatus. Why? Because when you're born on planet Earth, whether you like it or not, you are immediately a political being, meaning that you have to take part in the political decisions and structure of your environment, right? That's what marriage is. Marriage is a lot of things, but it's also political. How do we met out this problem, right? You have to be political about that. Anything to say there, Chantal?
No, I agree.
Yeah. The breakdown of community produces addiction, isolation. Okay, so addiction, we've already touched on that with the rats, right?
Yeah.
Right? One single rat goes for the drugs, man, every time. A healthy community never goes for the drugs, which is quite astounding. Look into that. Why can't I think of it? The thing.
The study?
Yes, thank you. Look into the study yourself, and look at that study, the single rat and the community of rats. It's quite astounding, and it will. And it's not like, well, I'm not a rat. No, don't think that way. Nobody believes that you're a rat.
They use it as a human substitute for a lot of these scenarios because a lot of these studies would be otherwise inhumane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, well, yeah, exactly, right. And we already know that mice respond very closely to human biology. That's why they use mice. So they use a rat because the rat mimics human
characteristics.
Human characteristics. So addiction, isolation. The breakdown of community produces isolation. Of course it does. Nihilism, meaning nothing is worth it. There's no worth in life. I might as well not be here. That's nihilism. Everything is going to shit. That's nihilism, right? Not everything is going to shit. Enough things right now are going to shit to make us work at what we need to work at. But the world doesn't have to go to shit. And as long as you believe that and say it, you're right. You're absolutely right. Rage.
Like a healthy dose of pessimism is always good.
Yes, skepticism is a virtue as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. See, and I'm a believer in being very pessimistic. I don't believe anything without proof.
Well, this is a healthy people, though, right? People that ask questions, right? That don't rely on someone else's narrative to learn the truth of a matter, right? I can hear something on CNN, although I don't watch CNN, nor do I watch any media, any legacy media. But if I hear something on there, I will immediately go and research that thing if it means anything to me. And yes, a healthy dose of skepticism is a virtue. It's not unvirtuous or not virtuous to think that way. But complete nihilism, like there's no worth in life, is something different, right? Don't trust what you're being told ever. Research it, because you will become smarter for it, and you'll be able to construct a better argument. Like off the top of the show, what we witnessed with this protest, right, where they had no answers, they just had rage, which is the next point. Rage. You have nihilism. The breakdown of community produces rage, anger at other people that think differently than you do, right? I mean, of course, it's a big deal. Separation is huge, but it basically boils down to the fact that a guy thinks differently than you do. Now, there may be reasons for that, and they may be the fact that he's captured, he's going to make money from it, he doesn't really believe it, but it's going to do him good, and fuck you. That exists, absolutely. That's one of the biggest drivers. But being rageful at that person, I mean, being angry at him, and dealing with your anger is good. You should be angry at somebody that is trying to take advantage of you for their own self-gain. That should induce anger. Anger is not the problem. The problem is that when you finally get the opportunity to to express into the ether your thoughts, you should come as composed and as knowledgeable and understanding with wisdom as you possibly can. Otherwise, like this guy at the protest, he's got his camera right there to show
excite everybody.
Right. And there might have been people in the crowd that didn't approach him that felt exactly the way I'm saying, but the only people he captured were the people running up to him, yelling and screaming and calling him a douche. That's not going to help you, man. It's cathartic. It makes you feel good.
But in the moment, it does. Yeah.
In the moment. But then you go back home and you wonder, why do I feel like shit tonight? Well, you might feel like shit. And I had to deal with this in my own life. I felt shit because I was treating other people shitty because I was treating them the way I treat myself, which is contempt. I hated me. So,
Yeah.
of course, it was cathartic to get that out, to project that onto someone else, because it was getting off of me. You see what I mean? It was getting out of me, but it always came back to me. And then it would land harder the second time and more impactful in my heart the second time. And I finally had to realize every human being is pretty much exactly like me, meaning that my biology is almost the same, right? The thing that makes us unique is the way we express, the way that we create and show the world what we're thinking, right? But we are all the same. We are all Homo sapien, and my God, we need to figure that out.
Because there's nothing unhealthy about experiencing emotion. And the last thing that I would want anybody to do is conform to, what the safe, generalized norm is, which is, sit there, be quiet, be a sheep, right?
Yep.
For instance, my eldest came home one evening after school, and he was angry. He was very angry, and he couldn't articulate why he was angry. I didn't chase him. I didn't corner him. I allowed him to sit with that emotion in order to come to the conclusion of why he felt that way. And everybody's entitled. Everybody's allowed to feel whatever it is that they feel. What's happening with the AISH-to-ADAP switch, it can make you feel very sad. But what is it really about the switch that is making you sad or angry or feeling, irate or whatever, right? Or feeling defeated? Every base emotion, so anger, sadness, happiness, everything has a breakdown that leads to that same thing, and it's understanding what's underneath it.
Yes.
The frustration of not being heard, absolutely, that's going to make you angry.
Yes.
The feeling of helplessness because your voice isn't being heard and you're angry and you have nowhere to put that, that's going to make you sad. All of those emotions are valid. Right? So somebody coming to a a protest to get it on camera, that might be how they process the world around them. It's not wrong for them to process the way that they're processing. Maybe they're going to take that video and they're going to take that as evidence of, hey, you know what, my voice wasn't even invited into the conversation. Maybe he was a disabled individual. Maybe he was on the beginning or the outskirts of this cage that we all find ourselves within, the WCB cage, right? That I have reports on, because everything stems from somewhere. But maybe because he's still in that defensive posture where I don't want to be labeled as somebody with a disability, because let's face it, there's a big stigma around being disabled, right? It doesn't mean that we're not able. And I'm not coming at this as saying, anything about being ableist. That's not me at all, right? Everybody has something that they can do. Whether it's simply existing, then that's how you live your life, is by existing. And exist in a way that enriches other people around you, because there could be somebody else that's just simply existing. And maybe you find common ground with that.
Yep.
I don't think anybody coming into a conversation angry, frustrated, pissed off, sad. I ran into a gentleman yesterday online who, I don't know, I was racing around Facebook, okay, just doing my floating through Facebook. And all of a sudden I saw a post come up in a thread that I was actively going through, because I'm a nitpicker, right? And all of a sudden I see the email is fake. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do here. Like, the level of frustration, I could feel it through my screen.
Yeah.
And I took a closer look to the screenshot, and it was fuzzy, right? And of course, my eyes are usually not the best as it is. So, but when I took a look, I noticed that it was regarding my campaign. This gentleman had tried to email the campaign with help to request his AISH file.
Okay.
Right? But the email had kicked back. So
Okay.
of course, I'm looking at this and I have to look at everything because I'm not the type of person that's just gonna go, no, hey, you're wrong. It's because you did something incorrectly. That my job isn't to tear somebody down. We do enough of that to ourselves.
Sure.
So I messaged him off of that thread because I thought, you know what, I don't need to bring attention to this. This is more of a private interaction and he needs to know that I'm here.
Mhm.
And I let him know that I am the person behind the campaign and that the reason the email hadn't come through was because he had put system in part of the email address. Well, I dropped system for the email address because I didn't want it a mile long.
Ah.
So it doesn't match the Facebook name. It doesn't match the app name, but the video that he had watched of Mary Renaud's testament that, hey, do this form, get your information, blah, blah, blah. Above the email address was the Netlify address.
Mhm.
So the one for the app.
Mhm.
And that one has system in it. So as he was writing down the email address, the wires crossed or the lines merged because that happens to everybody. I know it happens to me a lot.
Mhm.
And he had transcribed system into the email address. And I said, well, I knew exactly what the issue was, but I didn't want to throw it in his face like this is something else that you failed at because that's not how I approach things.
No, no.
So I let him know I'm here now. This is the correct email address, but he wasn't able to, because his emotions were too high. He
Mhm.
wasn't able to see the email address as I pasted into the conversation.
Mhm.
That system wasn't in the email address. But I
Yeah.
validated the fact that yes, you sent the email. I understand that you sent it,
Mhm.
but the address was incorrect.
All right. All right.
The actual address is this. And I posted both addresses, one above the other, saying this one is correct and this one is incorrect. And he finally, after about 20 minutes of us yapping back and forth,
Mhm.
and me never once invalidating how he was feeling and the frustration and the level of hostility,
All right.
that it wasn't my mistake, as I didn't post the Mary video, right? She posted that on her own.
Right.
But that at least this way, he knows that somebody's here. I am physically present.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And so he messaged me on Facebook there, and he sent me his email address and he sent me his phone number because he's
Okay.
really struggling.
Good.
And I said, I understand, I get it. So I went into the campaign email address and I sent him an email confirming, hey, I got, this is you, this is me, we're talking in Facebook, and I will get you the information that you need as soon as I have it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
No,
it was confirming, hey, my email address does work, this is
Yeah.
what it is,
Right.
and if you ever need to message me again, you can.
Right, but you did it with love and respect and
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and you know that's a discipline, man. Like if anybody thinks out there that that this isn't a discipline, it absolutely is a discipline. It's really a choice in the moment of how you're going to choose to respond, which can have a lot to do with your biology, psychology, and sociology. So, um, you know, but if you can apprehend that in the moment, and we're all bad at it. I mean, I didn't have to even do what I did with that chick the way I did it. I just did it that way because I had had enough. And,
Yep.
but I didn't have to. And I could have handled it differently. I mean, I didn't get rude. I didn't call anybody names. I didn't do anything like that. I basically just said that, look, you know, this is where you're coming from, where this is where I feel you're coming from. I don't have time for minor narcissism and I have to move on with my life. So, you know, and typically that's kind of where I come from as a rule. Now, you know, am I going to be good in every situation? No. I am going to not be every good for every situation. But I learned and I know that I'm not good in every situation, and therefore I can outsource or delegate to people that might be better handling other certain people that I don't know may take offense. And then again, the world's too, life's too short, right? Like, just get on with it, say what you got to say, and again, it comes back to that dynamic. Once again, if we lived in proper society, if we lived in a proper geometrical space, and we did life the way that life is intended, no one would be taking minor offense at anything. I mean, because there would be enough social pressure to say, no, don't do that, you know? But we put up with it now because we're not in that place where we know each other, where we know that we can speak at liberty, we can speak harshly to a thing, because speaking harshly to a thing sometimes is the best thing to do. Stop, right? You know, with your kids, right? Stop. That's enough. Don't do that. Aha, right? Sometimes that's the best approach. Is it always the best approach? No. But in healthy societies, you could be that in the moment. You could be that person saying, no, that's enough. And we would all understand that dynamic. We've lost it. We've totally lost that ability to even, you know, discipline the neighbor's kid, which is completely indigenous, right? The indigenous, some tribes didn't let their children
Did I say I'm going to run?
touch the floor for 2 hours, or for 2 years, sorry. Some people in some indigenous communities wouldn't let their children's feet touch the ground for like 2 years. And everyone in the tribe was responsible for the kid. So sometimes the mother would carry it, sometimes the neighbor in the hut next to him or the igloo would carry it. Everyone was involved in that children's life, and we do not have that now, and it is literally destroying us. So I'm just going to move on. A healthy society, healthy societies produce citizens who feel this, seen. Healthy societies produce citizens who feel seen, not ignored, which if you ever go downtown Calgary, and I'm going to guess go downtown Edmonton, most of the time everybody's ignoring everybody else.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not engaged with your neighbor. And, you know, when I moved here in the mid-'80s, well, no, I moved here in 79, but even up until the mid-'80s, there's a place in Calgary called Stephen Avenue Mall, right? You walk it, right? It's downtown. It's like one avenue that you walk, right? And if you walked by somebody in, let's say, 1982, and you didn't say hello, you were weird.
Or rude.
Or rude, or something. Something wasn't right.
Yeah.
You literally, if you didn't say hi to people when you even walked by them, that was not ordinary behavior. All of a sudden, and this changed to really the mid-'90s, you started walking by people, and if you said hi to them, you were weird. Why is that guy saying hi to me? What do you want?
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, like, do you got you want $5? Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Everything flipped within really the span of my observance of that in 10 years. And that's how we live, and we live even worse than that today. That's why COVID represented a time where it was possible to change that, but we didn't because we fought over vaccines.
But it's funny though, because if you look at what happened with COVID, with all the lockdowns and stuff like that, all the normal working people, they were falling apart. Oh, well, I need to be able to leave my house. I need that interaction at my job. I need to be able to go to the grocery store. I need to see my family. I need. How many people in the disability community don't have that? And yet that was a very limited amount of time where the entire world was basically on lockdown and all of their social needs weren't met. And yet here's the disability community going, oh, it's just a normal day for me.
Yeah, well, because people that, see, people want to tie their identity to all the wrong things. So what does someone do when their whole life they've attached their identity to what they do?
Yeah.
Well, when that's stripped away from you, then the question becomes, who am I? Because you haven't done the work of figuring out what you belong. And in a sense, when we talk about identity, when we talk about identity politics, when we talk about the gay community or we talk about the transgender community, your identity is not how you identify. Your identity is deeper than that.
Yeah.
It is the same for a guy that works or a woman that works their whole life and attaches their identity to their work. I used to not understand what that meant, and I was told it for years by the church, but because they couldn't define what they meant, I never understood it until I started reading philosophy.
Aren't those people usually workaholics?
Well, they're
People that can't function outside of their work?
Well, they're compensating, right?
Yeah.
They're compensating, but that is no different than anyone who identifies with anything outside of who they are by natural right. So, you see what I mean? Like they are compensating for something. So the transgendered, I want to be identified as a trans. Well, then you're not being identified by who you are, because your identity is not your transgendered nature. It is the nature of the fact that you exist and you know you exist. That's what makes you you, not how you present. And we need to stop that, because we will never come back to what we mean to each other as long as we're separating each other and how we identify. We all identify the same way, and that is as a Homo sapien, right? That is our lineage with some Neanderthal biological traits. This is who we are at our core. We are being separated by, whether it's, identity by work, by riches, by things and stuff, by transgenderism, by gay. All of those things are pulling us apart from what we mean at our core. I don't care that you're gay, just the same way you don't care that I'm not. That's not important. What is important is that you know that you simply exist. Therefore, you are. That is your identity. How you what's the word? How you present that, how you present that is your own unique way. Now, I understand that there is the government, increasing, whatever measures around transgender and things. Well, that's a conversation, and we can all have that conversation, right? I mean, I have an idea. It doesn't mean that I'm right. I don't expect that when I go into a meeting or anything else, I'm going to be right. I just have a thought, right? And then I test my thought. That's science, right? Science isn't, here's a vaccine that works for everybody. It's science is the question. It is the questioning of a thing. That's where we get science from.
And I think we've all been fed the line that there's no such thing as a stupid question. Isn't that how it was?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember exactly what we were told when I was a kid.
Right. There are no stupid questions. And I want to make something clear, because, Chantal brings me back to this, and I think I'm getting better at ascertaining it for myself. I'm not coming against any group of individual. When I say that you are not what you think you are, that's not your truest of identity, is what I'm saying. You're missing a component that is deeper underneath the one that you superficially impose on what your nature actually is. And your nature is the fact that you're a Homo sapien that exists because you know you do, which is consciousness. Above that is flotsam and jetsam and just layers of a thing. I have gay friends, right? I know a couple people that are either bi or trans, and I don't care that they're that. I don't, and I had a really great, on my podcast, I had a really great interview with an artist here in town. She's a lesbian, and so we touched on a little bit of that. And, she said, I stopped telling people that I was gay in the 90s because it doesn't matter. Right? Like, I just am. And that's who I am. I'm gay, and I don't need to tell you that. No, no person like me, what do we call me? I'm a heterosexual, goes out and walks into a room and says, hey, I'm heterosexual. You don't have to do it. It's unimportant. People want to know who you are. not how you what you represent. You're not having to sell yourself. You're already sold. You see what I mean?
You're already part of the collective. You were born a human being.
You're part of
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for being human and for having consciousness. Now let's get on with something, right?
Yeah.
And while we fight every day that we fight amongst each other, you know, I am this, I am that, I identify, people hate me, and we fight amongst each other. It is the government's wettest of dreams that we do that, because we will never, ever collectivize. And that is the strength of government. The strength of government is for you to remain angry at your neighbor. Stop it. Or
Yeah.
try and
The whole point is to keep us apart.
yeah.
And we're really trying to blur that line.
We're trying. So healthy societies produce citizens who feel seen, who feel useful. Well, how can you feel useful in this society? How can you feel useful, especially as a handicapped individual, right?
Mhm.
You know, you're not part of a thing, right? You know, the middle class is a clique, and then there's cliques within the cliques, and then there's cliques within the clique, and clique. You know what I mean? It goes on forever.
Yeah, there's categories and subcategories and subcategories and offshoots and oh yeah.
Exactly. We're like junior high school kids that never grew up.
Yeah, no, I'm not in high school anymore. I won't partake in that kind of behavior anymore.
No, you prove it every day of your life. You know, you do. More than I do.
It's not like I haven't ran into people that don't agree with me, and it's fine. Like, I'm not here to convince you to do something you're not willing to do. That was another conversation in a thread in another group last night. Somebody came to the thread and said, well, I don't understand why this is such a big deal or why I have to request this and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you're not being forced to do anything. Like you're not being held at gunpoint. You're not being told to do anything that you don't want to do. If you don't want to do something, then don't do it.
Right. Except that the government is holding that gun to your head.
Exactly.
But no,
like somebody said, well, I'm not switching to the ADAP program because I want to stay on AISH. And it's like, well, I think everybody would be with you in that. However, when that switch happens, if it happens, I want to put that if in there because I don't know right now what anything's going to happen. If that happens on July 1st, we don't have a choice.
right.
We will be switched unless you're part of those specific categories that say, nope, you can stay on AISH. We are all being effectively transferred to AISH.
Right.
We will have to reapply for AISH.
Right. Right.
So regardless of whether you want to, be part of the collective that's being transferred, or you want to, make a big stink about it, now's the time to make the stink.
Right.
Because the switch hasn't happened yet. Right. But when that switch effectively happens, sitting in your house and going, oh, I'm not going to get involved. I don't want to do this. I don't agree with it, blah, blah, blah. Then you're not going to get your check.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. They're going to go, oh, you don't want to do the ADAP thing? You've already been switched. We're not just going to give you free money because there are hoops that you are going to be expected to jump through.
Yes. Yes. And,
so it's okay. You can stubbornly sit there and go, I'm mad. I don't want to do it. Well, that's fine. Then don't do it.
Right.
But the natural consequence of not doing that is lack of income and probably homelessness. So all the power to you.
Well, that's just it. You can sit there like this all you want, and then the cops will just, the sheriff will come in your door and pick you up and take you out in that position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be as stubborn as you want.
We don't have that kind of power.
No, we don't.
To say, well, no, I'm not doing that. We are all literally on a support program. If they say jump, it's how high or off of what?
Well, amen. One thing, we don't have, just let me clarify, we don't have that power individually. You can't sit at home and think that something is going to be different for you that is the same for 79,999 others. You don't have that luxury and you don't have that power. Where you do have that power is with the other 79,999 people. So you need to become them because you are them. And that's all I've been saying for the last half an hour is you are no different than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so you can believe that you are. I can believe that I deserve a Lamborghini, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get one. Right?
And I can believe that my daughter can out-stubborn the most stubborn individual, but that's not going to make her stronger when she gets to be an adult.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just going to cause other problems that may or may not cascade.
Exactly. And so in a sense, you need to be educated, whoever that is that sits in their house and does these things, on the fact that you're not that special. It is a duality and it's a paradox that there are two truths standing true at once. You are unique in the world and altogether special. And number two, you're not that special. So there is some balance of that duality that needs to be met out in the human life. If you think that you're all exists in this world, I'm sorry, you're not. You're tipping the scale.
You're unique and individual, just like
everybody else. That's right. That's right. But that does
That I've
not.
heard.
But that does not take away the fact that you are unique and special. You are unique to the world. Your contribution will forever stand in history as unique. You belong in the world by the nature of the fact that you know you exist and you were born into it, right? This is what is special. But you're
like, I might not know everybody on AISH, right? And I might not. I can guarantee that I don't.
Yeah.
But the world would be less without you in it.
You know, it's funny. I said that to my dog once. I probably should have said it to my kids. But I said it to my dog once. I said, you know, my world has been better ever since you came into it. And I probably did say it to my kids. I'm kidding. But that's the truth. You know, you make the world a better place, or you have all opportunity to, because you exist. The way that we have structured power and systems like that makes you not believe that to be a truth, but that is a universal truth. It's only that you live in a paradigm that does not allow you to express that, and that's what we're trying to change. So we need to get on board with that and stop thinking about ourselves. Because you're right, you are nothing. Alone, you are nothing. But together, you are immovable and unstoppable.
Well, it's like a lot of the documents that I had prior to when everything went live. I was building all those for me to strengthen my voice and my conviction when it came to the wrongdoings of the government. Right?
Yep.
And then I sat here and I was looking at my library and I'm going, well, what the hell good does it do not sharing it?
Huh, right.
I'm sitting on all of this big nest of information, and it's not going anywhere unless it has my name on it to specific agencies or specific government entities, because I like to bitch and complain.
Right.
Right? I'm not a Karen by any means, okay? I have my mohawk, I'm not a Karen. But I like to hold people accountable.
Yes.
Well, there's got to be a lot of other people out there that want to do the same thing. That was my thought process, right? Like, I wonder how many other people would really like the information to be able to make their voice a little bit louder.
Right.
And I just kind of sat here and contemplated it and scrolled through all of my files, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Right.
What are they going to do? They can't do anything to me. Everything is sourced.
Right.
Everything is written in a way that the general public can understand. It's not bureaucratic, you know, grade 14 shit, right?
Yeah.
Let's make it public and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, 663 members later, a working app that's distributing to another maybe 1,000 cards that are being actively distributed. We've got a whole campaign now.
Yeah.
From something that I just sat on.
Yeah, I've got your cards.
And added to over time.
I've got your cards, and I'm handing them out every time I'm downtown, man. Yeah, well, that's just it, right? Like, you know, I think this way. I wonder if anybody else does.
Yeah.
And then you realize
I just sat there on it, and I never thought, I wonder if other people would like my information. I never thought of that. In the months or years of me putting together a lot of this stuff, never thought of it.
Mhm.
That never came to mind at all. I was just centrally focused on my voice, on people hearing me and me fighting for the needs of my children when I'm no longer a voice for them. And then I thought, well, how many other thousands of people need my voice too?
Right. Right. And at the same time, you need other people's voices.
Oh, absolutely. Because I can stand there. Sure, I can go to the legislature with my big banner, and I can be a thorn in somebody's side for a few hours before I have to rush home to get my kids in the door after school, that kind of thing. But if I can make everybody else equally a pain in the government's butt,
What a joy
that's
that
even
is.
better.
What a joy. One of life's guilty pleasures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, of course, and I feel the same way. I love to be a pain in the ass to the people that deserve to be a pain in the ass to. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love watching them squirm, but not because I want them to be uncomfortable, but because you don't know whose life you'll change, even in a politician, when, and not only that, even if you don't change your mind, you ascertain in real time that you have a better thought than they do. So you know you're correct, at least in this. And then if you move on to another thing and they squirm and they weasel, okay, I think I have confirmation that I'm right here. And all of that rightness accumulates to form an ideology and an opinion that is based on fact and truth and no one can take from you. And you can defeat other arguments um, in real time, and you can get to the bottom of something, which is ultimately where we're headed in this world. Uh, I don't know if I'll partake in it, but there is a group of there is a demographic that either is coming or has arrived that is not going to put up with this shit any longer.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's my grandson, if it's his generation. I don't know if it's the one after that. But there is a generation arising that says no fucking more. That's the and I hope I partake in some. I hope I see it. I really
Yeah.
do.
See all of that work come to fruition, right?
Yeah, and not even my work, but just the fact that if I left the world knowing that it was going to be better, even if I had nothing to do with it, it might make me feel like I might have done something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, exactly. That should be the purpose for everybody. Leave something substantial enough behind that the next generation can utilize it.
exactly. We have
And
left
it
our
doesn't
legacy.
even have to be something big.
No, we've left our legacy up to Elton John and Britney Spears, right?
Yeah.
That's the people that will be lauded in antiquity. But I believe there's coming a day where celebrity of all kinds is going to be like, I don't fucking care anymore. I don't care about
Yeah.
those people. I care about what's going on in my own town and who's creating here today and who's making a difference here today. I don't give a shit about what's happening, 1,000, 10,000 miles away. I care about my own backyard and I care about my own creativity. Fuck Elton John. You did a good thing. Now go away
Yeah.
and we'll create from here. We'll do the hard work. And Elton John came from somewhere. Freddie Mercury came from somewhere. They all came from somewhere. You
Yeah.
see what I mean? Once again, we're living in a fucking,
What's up, baby?
so healthy societies produce
You're not supposed
citizens
to
who
step on
feel
stairs.
seen, useful, heard, meaning that you have a voice and you're heard in that voice, connected one to another. Not this guy doesn't like gay people, but
Advocate.
it doesn't matter if that guy likes gay people. He's still a brother and someone that can be informed and educated
I'll go sit
on
on the
how to
table.
do life better. And culturally rooted, meaning that we are culturally rooted in the same types of epitaphs, the same types of what's the word? I won't be able to think of the word, but we are connected by whatever is the most meaningful things in our geography, in our ideologies. We're connected that way. We all tend to believe the same way. You see what I mean? A healthy society does not merely keep people alive. Well, fuck, of course not. And if all you're doing is trying to keep yourself alive, your healthy society has a big problem.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do right now. You want to talk about a big problem? We're trying to stay alive. That's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to stay alive. That's not a healthy society. It gives them a reason to participate in life, right? In your own way, in your own uniqueness. What creates civic coherence? Civic coherence emerges when citizens feel structurally connected to each other and to the institutions governing them. So, when citizens feel structurally connected, meaning that your geography brings you together rather than pulls you apart. You see what I mean? So it brings everyone into proximity. This is a geometrical and a mathematical problem as much as it is a social one. But if you do not have that and you're built on a grid system, then that becomes your psychology. The separation becomes your psychology. If you're built in a more concave circular fashion, then you're more apt to know people just by the shape of that geometry itself alone. So structure connected and each other and to the institutions governing them. So once again, we have no voice in government, and that is what we need to change. That is what we're trying to change. Coherence requires trust, visibility, participation, proximity, shared civic rituals, and shared civic rituals. So coherence requires trust, visibility, participation, proximity, and shared civic rituals. Those rituals really are everything because they comport as to the thing that the district or the community believes are the most important, right? So civic rituals. You see what I mean? What are the most important things to us that we celebrate one to another, right? And you get to know that in culture. You don't get to know that separate from culture. You'll never unearth it being separated. The only way you can unearth what means something to everyone is by being with everyone. And we don't have that. We're all in our fucking house doing our own thing. Which creates everything I've explained. When institutions become distant, citizens disengage. So this is what happens naturally. You disengage. Why? Because it doesn't seem that bad to begin with. Well, I guess they're handling it. Good for them. Gas is cheap. I guess I'll go on my way. Doesn't matter. I have to work, one job and then I have to work part-time here. I'm too fucking busy. The government will handle it. Well, they distance themselves for a reason, and that's because they have something else on their mind than your mental and biological stability. So they disengage from you and you disengage from them. It's the perfect marriage as far as they're concerned, and you think it is for you in the moment. But then another thing is conspiracy fills the vacuum. So now when things start to go wrong, you start to question it. And if it's only personal to you or maybe a few other people, that's what conspiracy sounds like, right? Chemtrails or whatever, right? And so that there's two things with conspiracy. Conspiracy really means breathing together. That's the Greek terminology of conspire, to breathe together. It's really just two people talking. It's all conspire or conspiracy means. It doesn't mean this thing that it's become known as, and that wasn't a construction until the late 60s. There was no word, or there were no two words, conspiracy theory, up until the mid 60s, and that was brought to you. Courtesy of the CIA. It was the CIA that first used that terminology. So,
yeah, and they used that specifically to discredit people that were on the right track. That could see the patterns that they didn't want seen. I don't know. I grew up watching X-Files and what was it, Outer Limits and unsolved cold case stories and like, come on, man. When it comes to pattern recognition or seeing things between the lines, I'm all for it.
Right. And I will say this too, ladies and gentlemen, that pattern recognition is a heightened sense of intelligence. So those who can see patterns uh, statistically have a higher level of intelligence. It's just the way it is. Now that doesn't mean you're special. Well, it does mean you're special. It doesn't mean that you're any better than anybody else. It just means that we can all really actually do that. We can all see patterns in things. Some people are better at it than others, of course. Some people are better drummers than others, even though they've studied just as long. There is a natural element to it. But some people see pattern recognition, and they start to put together the pieces of that. And the other thing about conspiracy is that if you don't give me information and all I'm left with is to assume a thing, well, then I'm going to assume, because you've given me nothing else, any information, any knowledge, any truth, to actually make an informed decision. And so why do we have so much conspiracy today? It's because nobody knows the fucking truth of a thing.
Yeah, there's not enough transparency. There's not enough communication or sharing of intelligence.
Right. And not only that, this whole oh, why can't I think of the word? This whole autocratic way of thinking, that we'll leave that to the professionals, and Anthony Fauci knows best, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's what they bank on, right? They bank on you being stupid and leaving it to the professionals, right? Technocracy, sorry. This whole technocratic state that we're dystopianly moving into, where people that don't have your best interests at heart, but they know one thing, you'll sell them your entire life for a mess of pottage. Don't do that. That's not critical thinking, and that's not intelligence or intellect. Neither one of those things.
Your sister alone. Yes.
So, and then cynicism grows, right? So the cynic, so then you become cynical because you can't get proper information, and everybody else is calling you a conspiracy theorist because you're only left with the ability to assume, no facts, no knowledge, no concrete evidence. Then cynicism grows and you become cynical. Well, right? You become nihilistic in that sense. Nothing means anything anymore, and the world sucks. A society fragments when people no longer believe they matter, their voice matters, institutions are reciprocal, town halls historically matter. Okay, so here's another thing, and this is part of my grand construction as to how to do proper civics, and that is on the factor of town halls. So I believe we need to get back to a town hall method, in which in every district there are town halls, and your MLA or your counselor is every month required by the law of being a counselor to head up the town hall every month. So he has to be there, and he is in direct accountability to a certain group of individuals within that district. So if he comes in wanting to be a douchebag, the oversight council shuts him down and tells him to get his shit together, or he's going to be voted out. In this way, we get to observe people like that in real time, and we get to make real-time decisions on whether or not we want them to represent us in any manner, right? But we won't do that if we don't have town halls. We won't do that if we're not coming together and being responsible for our political side. Like I said, we are political beings. Anyone born on this earth, the minute you're born, you become political. Because you have to be. Because you live in a world with other people and with things that need to get done, like a road, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot say, oh, I'm not political. No, that's bullshit. You're irresponsible. You're not political. Institutions are town halls historically mattered because power remained visible and answerable. Civic coherence is strengthened when citizens physically gather. Okay, that's why they started doing church, right? If you think about it, back to the time of Christ, people started gathering because they were small in number and they wanted to be together. Now, whether you believe in gospel, or religion of some kind, that's not the point. The point is that that's how the species does it, right? We collectivize, we get together with like-minded people, and that's what a town hall is. Art and debate coexist. So this is the beauty of that. Art and debate exist. There is an art in debating, and you get to express that form of art when you learn how to debate. This is something we should already know. Just like people should be able to understand jazz because they should be educated toward it. Not that they know everything about it, but they have an appreciation for it. They understand what it means in an improvisatory sense and other senses. We are completely uneducated from these necessary things. And there is art in debate. There is art in getting together. There's art in two people sharing ideas. There's a whole art to that. And it doesn't mean that you need to what, like I don't know the art. Well, in this paradigm, you're not going to know the art because nobody's teaching you the art, right? And that art comes really the way that music used to be handed down by generations. It's the same thing. That art is just handed down to you from your parents. Your parents are at the town hall. They debate. They take you there as a kid. You learn how to debate. That the art is not something you really study unless you want to. You see what I mean? Anything to say about that?
No, sorry, I got off on a little bit of a tangent here and I'm just doing a little bit of extra research. Because according to the CDB, they're going to index it to inflation starting July. So July of this year, so a 2% indexation factor, expected max increasing from $200 to $204 a month. I want to know how that is going to be clawed back.
Did you say 200 to 204?
Yeah. We're getting a 2% increase apparently because they're indexing it to match inflation.
You mean we're going to go from $200 to $204?
Yeah.
What are we going to do with the $4? Does anybody want to? Should I just? Am I not being thankful enough here? I don't know.
No, what I'm looking at it as is, okay, well, everybody as of April that either has or doesn't have the CDB, so that's that Canadian Disability Benefit from the federal government, right? That's already being clawed back by AISH, right? So everybody's already losing $200 off of their check. With this index inflation thing that's happening at 2%, which adds $4 to that 204, right? That means that the Alberta clawback mechanism is going to do dollar for dollar. So that means another $4 off of our AISH checks at the end of the month. And what's happening July 1st? Everybody's going to be losing an additional $200 that is automatically being transferred to the ADAP program.
Right.
So that's what, almost $404 that everybody's going to be losing across the board.
$404 per month?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Like, I know that everybody's still getting their, I want to try and explain this in a way that people can understand. So we are still getting that CDB deposit from the federal government. Okay. So everybody's getting that $200, soon to be $204 in April. On what was it? January 15th was one, February 19th was another, March 19th was another, April 16th was one. This month it'll be the 21st, next month it'll be the 18th, then the 16th, blah, 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 right? So all of those deposit dates are available online. Okay. Right? So we get that on, what is it, the third Thursday of every month, which is like fine. But then that amount that we got from the federal government essentially gets removed off of our AISH check.
Right. Okay.
So now people that have been surviving on having the $200 less at the end of the month, right? Because we get it at a different time, are now gonna have to survive with less.
Yeah, of course, right?
And for
400.
everybody that is on AISH or has been on AISH for a while, everybody sets up their budgets and their financial needs and necessities based around that AISH check,
Okay.
right? So people pay their rent, people pay their bills, people go and grab their medication. Everything is around that final check.
All right.
That's why the getting the CDB the third week of the month, right, really is screwing a lot of people up because they're so used to budgeting around that one lump sum at the end of the month.
Right. Right.
Because I know that's how my house runs, right? I do all of my grocery shopping, I do everything based around, you know, what my paydays are.
Right. Yeah, of course. So,
Yeah, that's just
but
that's going to be an even greater kick in the teeth. Like $4 isn't much at this point, but it's enough to derail, you know, one more people, right?
well, it's $4 is petty, but $400 isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
if
yeah,
he's-
because with the AISH-to-ADAP switch, everybody's coming down an extra $200.
yeah, right. So that's what it looks like. And I mean, if somebody said, you know, like, we'll give you the $400, but we're going to take $4 off, I'd say, yeah, go ahead. What's for lunch? You know. But the $400 is what they're taking away, and obviously any gain that we would get, I think, is really your kind of overarching point. Any gain that would be mitigated and given as an amount will be clawed back to us. So right now it's $4, but what if it's $100? We'll then not have 100. We'll be missing 300. All right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're getting it clawed back, every cent of it, every dollar. And once again, we come back to the Heritage Fund and the fact that there's no reason for this. There is zero reason. It is your government that is the most irresponsible pieces of shit around your geography and on the planet that are taking your money, middle class people, and dealing and getting themselves some nice little things on the side. And whatever that looks like, they are not putting the money and they are not saving the money to any extent that could be, you know, fashioned for your benefit. And now they're going to take away or transition us when they just did 300 and what was it, 93 million?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, 383 million in one quarter.
In one quarter, right? And who out there in the middle class knows this, that your government just made $383 million and you don't know about that? That's your money. That's Albertans' money. It's not government money. It's yours. So,
I just find it really funny how we have this amount that is supposed to be mitigated, you know, to certain aspects of the Alberta community at large, right?
yeah.
But it's just not happening. Like the federal government is sending a specific amount of funding for education, but yet we still don't have enough money to do it. Right, to meaningfully meet educational needs for anybody. And it's like, well, we have the money to buffer that.
Yes.
So it's almost like it would be a non-issue if they use the money appropriately. Right, just like the AISH program, there's no reason to be forcing tens of thousands of people onto an ADAP program when they've already been established and proven that they can't work.
Right.
For what, the 40 people that dupe the system?
Right.
Give me a break.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. But then we've got, you know, everybody, you know, what is it, Danielle Smith making her $220,000 a year, and yet she's spending the taxpayers' money to refurbish her office and eat out and travel to, you know, talk to people about selling Alberta. Like, give me a break.
Right. And yeah, like something, yeah, like in the 200,000s for a year, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah, it was like what, 280 something thousand and
Right.
change.
yeah. Well, and people would say that's the cost of business, and I would say so is AISH. It's a cost
Yeah.
of doing business. Yeah. So fuck you and your cost of doing business, right? She can have her 200 and
Mhm.
whatever thousand a year, but we get what we fucking want to, so that we allow her the luxury of that.
Yeah.
Right. And if she doesn't want to play ball with us, this is the power of the demos, ladies and gentlemen, the power of the people, right? We don't have it. We've lost it. We're not a true democracy. And it's
Yeah.
time to stop saying that. It's time to start saying we are not a democracy and understand what democracy means, which is simple. People rule. Demos, kratos, people. Demos, rule. Uh, demos, people. Kratos, rule. People rule.
Mhm.
That's it. Um, so civic coherence is strengthened when art and debate coexist. Beautiful. Commerce and philosophy overlap, right? So you do
Mhm.
commerce together, right? You mom and pop, right? You know, got this beautiful store. It's not big, but it doesn't have to be, right? They service you and they provide you fresh fruits and vegetables, and you go in there and you talk philosophy. You know what I mean? You talk about the day, you talk about what's going on. You have philosophy, you know, you have a philosophy's corner right beside the bar where, you know, your hot rock and roll band is playing a Friday night and a Saturday night. Oh, no, wait a minute. They're playing there 6 days a week. You see what I mean? And you've got the
Mhm.
philosophy corner right next door where you can go in, put a red beret on your head, and philosophize, right? You can get down and dirty with your neighbor, you know, Socratically speaking. Um, and political life is visible. So when your political life is visible, not meaning just the counselor is right in front of your face, but all of everyone in your geography is politically motivated to the extent that they need to be. They're not becoming politicians, I mean, they are just actively engaged in the system of your geography. Then when that's visible, you feel like you're a part of something. Like your voice matters. And here's the thing, in a situation like that, in a society like that, you don't always talk politics. You only talk it when it's necessary, right? You know? So coherence is what happens when citizens can still see themselves reflected in public life. Coherence is what happens when citizens can see themselves reflected in public life. So when you look at your neighbor, you see a part of you. You don't see the differences. You see the similarities. You see that you're moving together, that your archetypal, you know, stories align, that your philosophy aligns, not wholly, not 100%, but you believe similar, you think similar, you do these things. Number three, why do art, philosophy, commerce, debate, and governance historically cluster together? Why do art, philosophy, check it out, art, philosophy, commerce, debate, and governments historically clustered together? Why is that? And why would that be? Is it necessary? Um, civilizations repeatedly cluster these forces because human flourishing compounds through encounter. So basically, this is what it takes for human flourishing: art, philosophy, commerce, debate, and governance. Okay, now you could add spiritual life to that. Of course, you could. Um, but that would be agreed upon uh, by the district, by the community itself. What is that spirituality? What does it look like? What does it mean to participate? Is it weird? Does it need a Jesus? Does it need any icons? Or is it just a feeling of knowing that there might be something bigger that created you? or that created the world, or, you know what I mean? Or, is nature sufficient? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Um, it's not brought down to you from some centralized, organized religious establishment, that burns you at the stake if you don't think the same way. And
Mhm.
burning at the stake is exactly what happened during the Inquisition. So, I mean, the Inquisition was a nasty time in the life of Jesus, I can tell you that. I think Jesus found it hard to justify himself for about 700 years. um, I'm sure he was up in heaven going, hey, that ain't me. That ain't, no, I don't, I'm not, I ain't a part of that shit. Um, so, art, philosophy, commerce, debate, and governance are the aspects that produce human flourishing, right? Civilization, okay. Ancient agoras. So, if you think about Greece and you think about the stone kind of expanse, circular agora, space, agora just means space. Um, this is where these sorts of things took place. Forums, right? Like maybe not the Colosseum of Rome, although yes, because it just wasn't lions eating people. It was a lot of other things. And I'm not saying that we should go back to having lions eat people, but those were where forums took place. Coffee houses, right? Coffee houses, just a
Yeah.
simple coffee house where you can get animated. You know what I mean? It's not Starbucks. You know, you don't go in there and have to shut up and be on your computer all day. You can go in there and fucking, they got a little stage where you can get up and go, I think this, I think that, and people can boo you. They can agree with you. They can, you know what I mean? That's vibrant. That's alive. That's now. That's art. That's happening. You see, it's a beautiful thing to partake in those sorts of things. Um, Universities, of course, and universities now. I mean, just take a look at the states, and if you say anything about against a Jew, you're fucked. And universities were always open to debate. And now, especially under Trump, although Biden did the same fucking thing, they're shutting all that shit down. You can't say from the river to the sea. You can't say any of that shit anymore. That's not university. That's something else. Um, Salons, just things like that. All concentrated interaction. Innovation and culture emerge from collision. Ha. Innovation and culture emerge from collision. Okay, so people, colliding is kind of a violent act, right? It's certainly an act of proximity, but all violence or all collision doesn't necessarily need to be bad in the way it comes together. It's the colliding of two things, which is really what creates fusion. You see what I mean? That's how our our planets and our solar systems fuse together. Giant rocks collided together and they formed an Earth, right? You collide with each other. I don't mean, violently. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you come together, you hit hard, you're alive, you feel alive, you're moving. Uh, Artists meet merchants, right? So artists, I mean, the merchant exists because of the artist, and the artist continues to exist because of the merchant. You see what I mean? It's symbiotic in that sense. Philosophers meet politicians. Huh? So now the politician isn't separate and thinks his shit doesn't stink. He's together with a guy that probably knows more than he fucking does, and they are debating terms. They're debating what goes on in their environment. And the philosophers kept keeping the politician in check. And it doesn't need to be the philosopher. You could go artist meets politicians. You see what I mean? So the artist is going, hey, here's my need today. Here's what we need. Here's what you're going to do. And the politician goes, good. I think I could do that. Right? And every day you're in contact. Every day you're figuring shit out. Scientists meet patrons. So the scientist meets, the guy, Bob says, hey, what do you got going on? Well, today, we're working on the Hadron Collider, trying to make sense of the world. And therefore you're not a dummy anymore. Society is not the dummy, right? And people aren't castigating you for doing science. You know what I mean? Because you're all together doing it. You see? Density of encounter compounds culture. Density of encounter compounds culture. Pretty simple, right? The more you get together, the more people there are, the more it's compounded. It's a rolling snowball downhill, right? Um, that's what it is. Do you have anything to say, Chantal? I'm saying a lot.
Nope, nope, you're hitting it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have my nonverbal autistic son freaking out upstairs, so I keep muting my my microphone.
Okay.
He's bugging his sister, and he's just being a brat.
Is he? I hope he's okay.
Oh yeah, he does this sometimes when he wants attention or when something's really picking at his butt. So
Oh yeah.
it's all good.
Right. Right. Yeah, I know that feeling sometimes. You know, when something's chapping my ass. I get
Yeah.
it. Density, fragmented communities or fragmented commuter societies weaken mentorship. And there's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen, mentorship, people actually being better than you at something, and not everybody gets a prize. But you learn and you grow, and your entire geography becomes a geography of mastery. I mean, we think in this city that we're going to get ourselves on the map by building a $1.6 billion arena, a close to $1 billion arts commons, 300 to $500 million National Music Center. That's not how you do it. Think about it. If you want world commerce, if you want to be known for something, every city has a big arena. Every city has something artist related and shit like that. What if your geographies, your districts, your communities were so vibrant and alive that they were pushing out the best artists that the world has ever seen because they do life on that scale? Do you want to know what tourism looks like in that regard? There would be people coming from all over the world going, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Your society is so vibrant. It's so alive. We're dying over here in fucking Denmark. Help us out. What do we do? That is how we create tourism. That's how you create it. You become undeniably amazing at something, and that's taking care of people, that's artistic discipline, that's all of these things. You become so good at something that the world cannot ignore you. Not, I have a big building. Nobody gives a shit about a big building. There are big buildings. Edmonton has a beautiful arena. I mean, I don't know what it looks like from the inside. I like the aesthetic outside. Did it have to be built? I don't know. I would say no. But regardless, buildings are not how people come to cities. People come to cities because their city is alive. You go to France, you go to Paris, man. I've been to Paris. You go to Paris and it's alive. You walk down the Champs-Élysées and it's just baguette shops and little salons and people having coffee on the veranda. And you know, you're walking down where Hitler marched in 43, I think. You know what I mean? Like there's something there, right? There's a Moulin Rouge, and it's a small building. It ain't no big fucking metropolis, right? You got that. You have the Louvre, right? You have the Louvre. That's a bigger building. It's huge, actually. It's about 4 blocks. But it was built there because Paris became something, and it didn't start with big buildings like the Louvre. It started with people creating. Their societies creating. You see what I mean? Exciting. This should be exciting. Mentorship. Fragmented communities, societies weaken. A fragmented community society weaken. Mentorship, scenes. I don't know what that means. Collaboration, of course. Continuity, yes, between people. Modern systems isolate functions, political into one silo. So this is what we have. We have politics now into one silo, right? And that, well, you could say a few silos: Calgary City Hall, Edmonton City Hall, and the legislature, right? We basically allowed these places to make the determinations on our lives. And as much as it's their fault, we allowed it. We need to take ownership of that. And we need to take ownership of the fact that we have to get it back. They're not going to give it to us. Sorry. They're making too much money and they feel too good about themselves. Commerce in another. So politics in one silo, commerce in another, right? So now everything is separate. You do this here, you do that there. Art marginalized. So art, I mean, think about back to the 90s when schools were getting rid of all of their music programs and theater programs and things like that, right? Um, and citizens atomized, meaning that everyone becomes so self-interested and so singular unto themselves that we see what we see today. Me on a podcast, coming to you through some, binary zeros and ones, instead of right in your face and giving account for myself. Historically strong cities integrated civic life, public speech, performance, and governance. Civilization advances where human beings repeatedly encounter one another. Pretty simple, right? When you encounter one another, you get stronger. You just do. When you encounter the community of people, right? Not just sit in a bar and get drunk and hate everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about vibrancy, being alive, right? Iron sharpening iron. Why does proximity matter? Proximity produces accountability. Of course it does. Empathy. Of course it does. Cultural continuity stands on its to reason, and civic responsibility. So accountability is really the big one here. I would say accountability and empathy, right? It makes you accountable, right? And even in a new budding, burgeoning thesis such as this community, it would be inevitable. See, social pressure is everything. Where there is no social pressure, people are just given to their wants and desires, right? But if you have, let's say you have 10 friends, and 9 of them are out every night debating philosophy, ceramics, theater, art, music, film, production. You know what I mean? Everything is alive, everything is happening. Politics, political debate, town hall, it's all happening in your district, right? In this agora setting, right? Where everybody wants to be. Now, that's 9 out of 10 of you. You're at home, staring at your computer, not knowing, what the hell you're actually doing, watching funny cats on a YouTube video. But your friends come over and they go, Bob, what the hell are you doing? And Bob says, well, I don't know, man. And they go, no, dude, like we're going down, to take part in life tonight, as we do every night. Like, get off your ass, get your clothes on, and let's go. Well, there's more opportunity or more of a chance that Bob will get off his ass and go with those 9 other people. That's social pressure. That's not governmental pressure. That's not legislative pressure. That's basic social pressure. And Bob gets off his ass. Bob says, I'm kind of depressed tonight. People go, enough of your depression, Bob. We're going downtown. Let's go. Or not downtown, sorry. We're going to the Agora. Let's go. All of a sudden, Bob falls out of his depression and into the fact that he's safe, he's taken care of, his life has meaning, and, whatever. Bob's your uncle, right? He has satisfied those things. If Bob has a biological malfunction, then Bob's got some escitalopram or something like that he, that he pops once a night, and Bob's good. I'll tell you what. Is it perfect? No. Is it better? Absolutely. There is no argument. There is no argument for better. Is it perfect? Nothing is perfect. We're human beings. We are fallible to all extent. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for better. A little bit better. Do you have something to say there, Chantal?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. So human beings care more deeply about what they can see. Interesting. Human beings care more deeply about what they can see. Well, yes, I guess that's why the media does such a good job of yanking us by our chain, right? Because it's hit after hit after hit after hit. I would argue with whatever my notes are saying to say that human beings are more, uh, human beings care more deeply about being, right? Not what
Mhm.
they can see necessarily, but are they being? You're not being when you're watching, Death from Above strike Iran. You're not being in that moment. You're seeing. You're visceral. You are a
Yeah.
voyeur of life. You are the
An observer.
an
That's it.
observer, not a partaker in it. Uh, so I would say that human beings care more deeply when they are being, when they're in belonging, and they know that nobody's going to let them go. In those moments of fear, they are connected and surrounded. In those moments where they're okay and their brother and sister is in fear, they are doing the same thing there. They are surrounding these other people with the love that has already been shown to them. This is society. This is community. This is the definition of it.
Yes.
Anything, Chantal?
No, I agree with you totally.
Yeah,
We've had these conversations off stream.
we have.
Mhm.
Yes, because they're paramount to creating a better world. Um, or us in the world. The world is fine the way it is. It ain't going anywhere. Not for probably billion years. Distance weakens accountability, empathy, reciprocity. Proximity creates spontaneous dialogue. Ah, right, right. All of a sudden, your
Mhm.
cashier isn't looking at you like you're a douchebag. Uh, you step up to the cashier and you go, "Hey, you look a little upset today. What's going on? You all right?" Um, you
Yeah.
know,
A little
uh,
bit of empathy goes a long way.
right. And I talk to all the cashiers that I go to the one right next to me here, and like everybody knows me now.
Hmm.
Like even the girls at the cashiers, they're like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?" And we just talk and we laugh and we tell shitty jokes, and it's really great. Spontaneous dialogue. What a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
Thinking on your feet, right? Beautiful.
Well, there's no cost to be friendly.
And well, that's just it, right? There is a cost. And the cost is that you have to put away whatever it is that is not working for the sake of conversation. So whatever that is that precludes you from conversation, mutual conversation, is the thing that you're going to risk.
Yeah.
And that could be the scariest thing in the world, I think. Am I wrong, Chantal?
No, there's always that fear of rejection.
Right, right. That fear, for me, it was the fear that I had nothing to say, right? That everybody was smarter than me.
Yeah.
And therefore I would be rejected, of course. That was my greatest fear, is that, and I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a quick story. My ex and I uh, were at a party, a church party once years ago, 20, no, 40 years ago at least. And we were both Christians, but I was in a pretty bad way, depression and, high anxiety and everything else. And we went to this party at this guy's house, this church member's house, and everybody there had something going on. One guy was a land developer, another guy was this, another guy was that, and I was like some budding musician who had no knowledge and nothing to say. And I went outside for a cigarette onto the step, in about, January, -20, -30. And I just started bawling. I just started crying. My wife was back in the party. She had no idea what I was feeling. And I felt so bad. I felt so useless in that moment. And I literally didn't go back in. I literally walked home, like Charlie Brown or some shit, like, the red handkerchief, over the stick. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that was me,
I was
ladies.
going to say dragging your blanket, but that's not Charlie Brown.
No, Linus though, like sucking
Yeah.
my thumb and dragging the blanket. Yeah, I mean that was me. It may be hard to believe because I speak better now, but But that was me every day. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I had anything to say. And I didn't know anything. I didn't grow up in an environment. I grew up in an abusive household where you weren't taught anything except how to be angry. That's the only
Yeah.
thing I was taught, was how to do. And I remember telling myself one time that if I can't do anything good, see, I've always been the kind of person that needed to do the best at what I did. I've just always had that mastery complex, right? And
Mhm.
I remember telling myself when I was a kid, I need to be good at something. And if I can't be good at being good, I'll be good at being bad. And I literally, that was my philosophical ideology. I went on to be a very bad person, but I was really good at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, how terrible, ladies and gentlemen, is that? And that's what we're producing. I'm not saying this because woe is me. I've done a lot of work through my life to see myself to this point. But I know there are a lot of people out there that feel this way, disengaged, angry, hateful, resentful, don't like who they are, don't know what the reason is. And the thing is that all of those things are a story unto themselves. They are theater that play out in the mind, because your mind can be stronger than than the truth of a thing.
It's amazing what we convince ourselves when all that we're actually looking for is acceptance.
Right. Right. And and there are good
Like
reasons.
even in an abusive household, like a lot of people have lived that reality. I lived that reality as well. The only thing I ever wanted was to be accepted for who I was.
Right. And but then you realize that you, number one, don't know who you are, because that's takes people with greater knowledge to lead you on that journey of what that means. And all you're
Well, it
told
takes
is
nurturing of that seed, right? And that was something that you didn't get, I didn't get, and so many other people don't get,
Right.
right? Because our parents were not capable of being nurturing in that fashion. But
Right.
in our day, growing up, right, even though there's got to be at least 20 years between us, right?
Yeah,
That
probably.
was the social norm. You didn't nurture your children. If you did, that was weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, my kids are 38 and 35, respectively. I wanted them, I didn't treat my kids that way, but it was because I was damned and determined not to, right?
Yeah.
I
Well, that's
wanted.
like me with my kids. My mom gave me exactly what I needed, the blueprint of how not to be a parent. Thank you
Right.
very much for your contribution to raising my children, because now I have exactly what not to do.
Exactly. That's what I always thought. I thought if I take what my dad said, do the exact opposite of that, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too is that the psyche fragments when you are not able to realize yourself, and when you're not able to express that. So you have to become different things to different people, and this is where really schizophrenia can come from, right? Complexes like that. When you can't express who you are, when you can't nurture that in you and have that nurtured by other people, you have to fragment your personality to know. Like I remember my mom saying, like I went up to my mom once as a kid, and I said, why, what's up with dad? Like, is he okay? Is it my fault? Because I didn't want to get the shit kicked out of me. And she was like, "Oh no, dear, that's just your father." But that wasn't convincing enough.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like, oh, I know exactly what you are. You are now the enabler because you're afraid of him too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And
It's amazing how much of a commonality there is between our family dynamics, and there's years between us, you know. It's a reality for a lot of people.
a lot of people, and I would say a lot of people that are on AISH and suffer, especially psychologically, probably come from damaged environments. And
Well, it
yet,
took me 38 years, Gavin, to find the words in order to be able to properly describe what I grew up in.
huh?
38 years.
Right.
And when I finally understood what narcissism was,
Ah,
what a covert narcissist was, what an enabler was,
right.
what that whole family dynamic looked like, it was like, well, shit. That's exactly what I've been living inside of all my life.
Right. Right. Right.
And once I had the language to understand where I came from and that there are so many other people that share that same concession,
Mm-hmm.
it was freeing in a way. It was completion for me because it was, hey, this is why I feel like I don't belong.
Mm-hmm.
This is why this relationship is no longer healthy for me. And this is why no contact needs to happen.
And think about it. Language was part of your healing process.
Yeah.
Right. People, say to me, oh, Gavin, you use such big words. It's because I experienced the same thing you did. Now, I took something maybe slightly different from it. I healed greatly by language, by definition. Oh, that's what that is, right? And I think through that process, words became very important to me. Language became very important to me because it was so healing and cathartic for me. And now I use verbiage that people would go, oh, doesn't he think he's so smart? But I don't do it for that reason. I do it because I believe language is healing. And so I use big words or whatever. I use verbiage to describe and define things. And I just hope that other people understand it. But it's cathartic for me. It's freeing for me because yes, you're exactly like you. When I could define covert narcissism. I mean, my dad wasn't covert about it except around other people. He was never covert around us.
No, because they're safe to show who they really are to their families. Because every family has to have somebody that enables the behavior, either out of fear or dedication to that individual.
Right.
Right?
Right. Fear, absolutely. I mean, when I was 6 or 8, I couldn't beat up my dad.
No.
It wasn't until
and in my family, it was my grandmother that was my mother's greatest enabler.
Oh yeah.
Don't piss your mother off because then she's going to be upset with everybody else. Just hold the line, make sure that you bow to whatever she needs. That's what our job was.
Right.
But that's because she had been enabling my mother's behavior ever since she was a child, because my grandmother was a child when she had my mother.
Okay.
Right? So when you have children having children and they don't have that foundation of knowledge in order to raise healthy individuals or to nurture healthy individuals, that's a double-edged sword.
Yes. Well, and I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I think what we're giving you right now is how to raise a shitty child 101. I mean, how to raise the worst children you can. This is the way not to do it. Your kids have to express. They have to be angry. They have to challenge you. They have to be able to do all these things.
And they have to be able to do it safely in a safe environment. That's your whole job as a parent. Right? Like, I don't want my kids to learn about how to handle their anger when they're already out in the world.
Right.
Right? Like, if they get angry for the first time and they don't know what to do with that energy, it's going to lead to legal trouble. Right? It's going to lead to them being arrested or ending up in jail or a psychiatric ward. Home is supposed to be your safety net, where you learn all the do's and don'ts, where you learn, if I push here, what happens? What's the repercussion? The home is where you learn all of that. It's supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be nurturing. It's supposed to build you up as an individual. And a lot of people didn't learn that as children. We learned that as adults.
Right. Right. Because we had to. I mean, we either do or die, right? And so if I bring this back to what I'm discussing here in terms of healthy community and proximity and geometry, these are the things that bring us back into a potential state of being of accountability. So why did my dad beat me? People ask me this all the time when it comes up, or somebody new or whatever. Why did your dad beat you? And it's very simple, because he could. Now, that doesn't explain the psychology of him, But why did he beat me? Because he could. Because there was no accountability. I couldn't beat him up. My mom couldn't beat him up. Nobody could talk him out of it. My brother couldn't beat him up. My sister couldn't beat him up. Nobody could beat him up. Nobody could stop him, physically stop him. So why did my dad beat me? Because he could. And we all got it. My sister the least, me, well, my brother probably the most, because he was the middle child and he was a little weird. You know, he had his own thing, right? Very artistic guy, theater, you know, actor par excellence, beautiful actor. But he's ostensibly schizophrenic and nobody's seen him in 15 years. I have no clue where on the planet my brother is, if he even exists to this day. So that wouldn't happen when, you know, Bill knows Bob next door and his kids run out naked screaming at 11 o'clock at night, fearing for their lives. The community would be there to put Bob straight in whatever way Bob needed straightening out, whether it was police action, jail, getting slapped upside the head by the neighbor, whatever it is, Bob would get it. And if you think that's too far, we had that in the 70s even. You know, I mean, we did. My I went to school one day. I'll tell you, I don't care. No shame, but I went to school. My dad beat me so hard, and I can't remember why, but he beat me so hard and stripped me of all my clothes first. Beat me so hard that I literally shit on the floor and pissed in my own mouth because of the way I was hunched over. I got welts all the way down my back. However you can do that. All the way down my back. 2 welts side by side, and then a ball at the bottom of it, kind of like that, pussed out about 2 inches. Now, I went to school the next day, and I was in gym class, and I had to take my shirt off, right? And so I take my shirt off, and the rest of the kids obviously saw my back, and they were like, what the fuck is that? Now, none of them wanted to ask me about it, but they all kind of knew what that was. Like, they knew it was abuse. They might not know where it came from or whatever, but so I'm in shop class in the afternoon, and my shop teacher was kind of an asshole, kind of a mean guy, just, you know, grumpy fuck, right? And he comes up to me and he goes, I want to see you in my office right now. And I'm like, shit, you know, this is the last thing I need, you know. I just had the shit kicked out of me last night, and now I'm, you know. And so I go into his office, and he sits down and he says, do you want to tell me what happened? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, the kids from class came in and told me about your back, and I want to know what happened. And I wouldn't tell him, of course. And finally, probably after half an hour, I started to release some of the details, and the conversation ended. Well, that night, he went to my house and knocked on the door, and I think my mom answered, and my dad came to the door, and he said, if you ever do that again to your son, I'll make sure you go to fucking jail for as long as the law allows. And so my shop teacher did that. Grumpy old man, didn't seem to like anybody. But, you know, so we did have that. Now, you know, you can't slap Joe and you can't slap Bob, or you go to jail. But we used to have that, you know, you don't do that shit to the kids, and your kids are not just your property or your responsibility, they're the responsibility of the community. And that was a healthy thing for us. Whether or not you should go around slapping people is another story. But we had accountability, is my point. We had accountability. And so, you know, I'm not embarrassed by that story. I am, you know, those stories need to be told. They really do. We don't need to be ashamed of our past. We don't need to be ashamed at the things that happen to us at the hands of other people. There comes a point where we take responsibility for those things and we have to deal with them. But there is no shame in my story. I didn't do
No.
that to myself. I didn't beat myself so hard that I shit myself. That wasn't me doing that. That was someone else doing that to me.
And there
And
was nothing that you did to deserve that. It was just because he could.
nothing that big. I mean, I can't remember what I did. Maybe I tried to run away, but I would have ran away for a good reason too, wouldn't I have?
Well, if that was the norm of being, you know, beaten by your safe person, right, or somebody that is supposed to be safe, then absolutely running away is a valid response to that. Fuck, I think anybody would.
Yeah, I ran away.
You know, but it doesn't. There is never a okay reason to lay hands like that on anybody.
No, unless
Like
you were
ever.
stopping
There's no way
right.
to slice or dice it. It's wrong.
Right, right. Unless you're protecting yourself or you are seeing an act of violence in front of you. You should never engage.
Like
with
if you
another
come out of
human
a bar and somebody's beating up on their girlfriend and you're one of those people that needs to intervene, then you're saving somebody.
Right, right.
Now, if you walk out of a bar or you walk out of a shopping center and somebody, you know, is let's say flicks a cigarette butt on the ground and you don't like that and you attack that person, your response to that is incorrect.
Yes, you should
Like
be going to jail.
you should go in for a head examination because there's something not right there with how you're reacting to something very, very small, very
Exactly.
trivial.
And you should suffer, and you should suffer at the hands of the law in that moment. Yes, you know, the only thing that begets physical interaction is other physical interaction. So
Yeah.
if someone says they hate your guts, you go, cool. Check me out in a year. People change. You know. You know what I mean? Like you know, you can defeat those things Socratically and intellectually. The only thing you can't defeat intellectually is if someone is repeatedly punching you in the face. And I think we know that. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you know that. You know what we're saying. But the story itself is for me to just say there is no shame in anything. You are safe in this environment, and you should be safe in all environments. That doesn't mean you need a safe space, because all safe spaces should be safe. What do we need a safe space for? What the world? You know, the world is unsafe, and we need a safe space. No, no, no. Your world should be a safe space, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm gonna just keep going. I think we're pretty much done. Let me. So proximity creates spontaneous dialogue, mutual recognition, of course. You want to go where people go, where people are all the same, right? Pressure toward responsibility, social pressure toward responsibility. Hey, Bob, pick up that McDonald's wrapper. That's social pressure, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's it. That's all it is. And it's not legislated, because the last thing you want is the government telling you what to do.
Or those people that sit in their vehicles and go, put your card away.
Right. Yeah.
When you come out of the supermarket, it's like, dude, I'm not even done unloading my groceries. Like, chill.
I know. Have you seen,
like, stop.
have you seen those guys online?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, they're funny, man. Like,
Zip tying the carts to people's door handles and stuff just because they're bored and they have nothing better to do. Like, I get it. Right?
Yeah.
My mother was one of those people where I'm creating a job. And
oh
she'd
yeah,
leave garbage on the table, or she'd leave the what is it, the cart in the middle of wherever, like right between where the vehicles would park. And it's like, you know, again, not somebody I wanted to be.
no, no. I mean, I watch these. I guess they call them cart narcs. You know, I've watched a few of them. And I think it's kind of funny. It's a little useless because it's really picking at you know what I mean? It's a bottom of the barrel shit. Somebody leaving a cart,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know. I personally like the videos where the guy's walking through a public space where people are walking, and all of a sudden he's using one of those fart devices in his pocket.
Oh yeah, I
and
love
he's
that guy.
kicking up his heels, or he's making like a disco move or whatever, and he's just letting her rip, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, he does.
That's funny.
He does the John Travolta thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Or
that
he'll
guy.
do the jump in the air, right, with his
Right.
legs out, and then all of a sudden he's holding his butt as he's like, oh no, 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 no. And then you've got the people going, oh my God, did that just happen? And then they start laughing, and it's like, that is awesome.
Oh, I know.
You know, it's a form of enrichment. It might be gross, Some people might have an issue with flatulence, whatever,
whatever.
whatever floats your boat, right?
Right.
But I think that's hilarious.
Oh, it's fucking it's such a study in human nature. And really, even these cart narcs, for as much as it's petty and it doesn't really matter, you see humanity. You see how people, and these auditors, these First Amendment auditors, right? Like,
Oh, people get pissed off.
oh
Like,
yeah,
how
man.
dare you? And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, why is this bothering you so badly? Like, maybe we need to discuss that.
Yeah. Yeah. The only problem I have with any of those auditors are the guys that wear masks and get together in like groups of 3 or 4, because that is an observable moment or an observable uh, ecosystem of concern. So if you got 4 people around you with masks on, holding, it doesn't matter if they're holding phones or not, cameras or whatever, because they're not knowable and they're in a group. I don't agree with that. I think, take your mask off, go around, ask questions of people. Like, there's a few guys on there, Long Island Audit. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a singular guy, goes out, walks into, whatever, post offices
A
or
public space.
yeah, and just says, I'm here to audit, my First Amendment. And yeah, he's been in jail fucking, I don't know. He's actually, I think, made a lot of money off of what do you call it?
Off the ignorance of people.
Yeah, and taking people to court. Oh yeah, he's it's not my bag, but at least he's legitimate. I'll get back.
At least he's doing something he believes in.
Yeah, and we need to uphold our rights. We really do. We're AISH is, this whole thing is taking away our rights as people. That's what this is a stripping of our rights. So, no, we have to stand up. Remote governments produces abstraction. So, remote governments produces abstraction, meaning that you just don't know what's going on. Everything is abstract, right? It could be this, it could be that, like a painting on a wall, you know what I mean? Like some elephant did, or like a Rorschach test, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what institutions become. They become a guess instead of a knowing. The farther institutions move from citizens, the easier it becomes to reduce people to statistics, right? You're just a number like we are. The harder it becomes to feel, the harder it becomes to feel consequences. So people that are removed from the situation where you have to phone or you have to email or anything like this, well, then you're the managerial class, they're not connected to the harm they're doing. They're separated from that. Physical civic proximity, historically reduced, institutional arrogance, which is a big one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just call AISH, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bureaucratic insulation, so no consequences. And social fragmentation, meaning that we're no longer connected to the things that are intrinsic to life.
Yeah.
Distance permits indifference. Proximity demands responsibility. Distance permits indifference. Proximity demands responsibility. And that, as Forrest Gump said, is all I got to say about that. That is just truth. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pick up on the rest of it because there's more to go. I'm going to pick up on it next time because we've been on here almost 4 hours, Chantal.
Really? That's it?
Yeah. And so I think we've done what we can for the community today. And I hope the community has an opportunity to come in on the conversation. And more than that, tomorrow, Tuesday, May 11th, Calgary City Hall, 12 p.m. noon, protest. We are down there. We are a force to be reckoned with. I can tell you that. There are people coming out, just coming up to us on the street and really laying their heart out to us in terms of their fiscal precarity, um, the fact that they can't find a job and they're not on AISH, the fact that they are on AISH and that they're freaked out. We have people driving by that are literally parking their cars and coming up and protesting right next to us,
Yeah.
grabbing a sign. And these are people on their way to work, on their way to school. They see what we're doing and they cannot do anything but stop and protest. That's
Yeah.
quite amazing. So I'm going to be down there tomorrow. Pam's going to be down there tomorrow. I believe, I can't remember her name. Ida is going to be there tomorrow. What a blessing of a woman that is. She is. And we are going to protest. I invite you all to come down and to share your voices. There is an Acorn protest as well tomorrow, but I don't have the details on that. So I can't give you any directives there. But there are people out there fighting for you. And I hope that you fight for you. Because we need to fight for each other. I need you to fight for me. I need you to fight for me. And
Yeah.
I need to fight for you. It's reciprocity at its best. And it's going to save us an indignity, an injustice, and some existential crisis that is bigger than I think we want to imagine. So that's all I got to say. Chantal, do you have anything, any latest news, statistics?
No, other than that email being up, now finally, no, everything seems pretty good. I'm still watching, the campaign email to see if anybody's messaging, for help. Nothing yet. I'm sharing documents again through Messenger, which is awesome. So yeah, I think we're good.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, we are, it seems to me like we've kind of moved into a flow now. Monday, we're going to be on at 3, this podcast, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. on Tuesday, 3 p.m. on Thursday, and 6 p.m. on Friday. So, boom, boom, boom. It goes like that, 3 to 6, 3, 6. At least that's not 666, which is great. Uh, Anything else? Yeah, we're downtown tomorrow, and we're gonna kick ass, and we want to see all the lovely faces, smiling faces, to kick ass with us. Like, share, and subscribe this podcast, please. I think it's important to get it out there, boost the algorithm so that people can see this thing. That's what your like does. Your like boosts the algorithm so it goes into the feed better. And sometimes there's suppression on it, depending on the topic. That's what the bot is for, but I can't control that. So that's it. Chantal, blessing to you. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And love to all, everyone out there. All right? Bye.